Hey everyone, welcome to episode 4 of The Grind and the Glory. I'm your host Joe Rotbart. Thanks for being here. We have a different twist on today's show. The last three guests, well, two of the three guests were in the medical field and one was kind of in the medical field, but we're going to actually take a totally different pivot today and talk about one of my favorite sports, soccer, or as the world knows it as football. And we have an ex-pro player from Holland or the Netherlands, who's also the co-founder of a team that we co-own together. It's a semi-pro team called Dade County Football Club. So I'd like to welcome who I call E, but E, why don't you tell everyone how you pronounce your name so they understand?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be here. My name is Ewout. But
Why
yeah,
is your name so difficult to
I don't
pronounce?
know, man. It's like it's a Dutch name. It's a typical Dutch name. My parents didn't envision me living here. So they should have maybe picked a different name if they knew. But yeah, I mean
What
here,
does Ewout stand for? Does it have a meaning?
Phew, man,
Because it's spelled Ewout,
Ewout. Yeah,
and
I
you
mean I
say
didn't.
Ewout,
Ewout, yes.
right?
I mean I didn't prep for this question, man.
Well,
That's why.
it's all right. It's why we're here.
Yeah, no, that's why. I mean, that's why I go by especially on the soccer field. You know how it goes. Like you
You
create
have a
like
nickname.
little nicknames. What's
Yeah.
quick to pronounce, right? And E fits pretty well, so I kept with it, especially in those circles. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
I
very
call you
excited to be
I
here.
call you E, man. So welcome. I'm glad you're here, man. I've known you for how many years have we known each other?
Oh, I think maybe longer than 4 years, huh? Four and a
No,
half.
I think it's like five. I think it was 5 years. I think
Hmm.
we met like 5 years ago.
We met very soon that I moved to Miami.
Yes, and so for those that let me just give a little background for those that don't know. So I was a player, a football player most of my life. Well, here in the U.S. we say soccer. So I was a soccer player most of my life. I played from the time I was 6 or 7 years old. My father played in second division in Poland. He was a second division professional player. He was from the city of Szczecin, which is a small town in Poland. So I grew up. My father had a big influence on me playing soccer. I played in youth leagues. I played in high school, and at 16, I started playing semi-professionally in New Jersey, which is where I'm originally from. And from there on, I went on. I had a career. I played in college. I played at Rutgers University. I tried to go overseas. I tried to take a stab at going pro. That didn't work out well because I like to have a little bit too much fun. And then I got injured like most players do, and then I came back and my career kind of went to the side, and then I started my professional career. Um, got married, had kids, did that whole thing, and then I became what a lot of ex-players do is they become soccer dads. So I was a coach. I would coach my son's teams, but I always had a huge passion for the sport. I loved the game. I mean, I was obsessed with the game. So anything I could do to stay involved, I would stay involved. And I was approached by several people over the years to start different types of teams and leagues, and I've been and we'll talk about some of the clubs that I've owned and been a part of. But I met E. Uh, I think it was like 5 years ago when my sons
Yeah.
were younger and you had just gotten to the when did you get to the US?
Yeah, about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
And
well,
you
to the US actually six. So I lived 1 year in San Diego. I went to school there. I graduated, and then I moved to Miami, and
but
then I
before that you were in Holland you were a pro player.
yeah. So I played my whole life, basically in the youth academy of a club called Vitesse.
Okay.
Um, Back then, it's
The
about
Vitesse is the town. Where is that?
Vitesse is the club.
It's the
It's in
club.
Arnhem. It's
Okay.
like in the center of Holland.
Okay. So it
Uh,
was what town were you in specifically in Holland?
in Arnhem.
Arnhem.
Yeah,
Arnhem
yeah,
was the
yeah,
name of the town.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And it's when I played there, Vitesse was always like a mid-table tier team in the Dutch Eredivisie.
When
So
you say mid-table, because What's the name of the first division in
Eredivisie.
Eredivisie?
Yeah. So
So
you,
was it in the first division
it
or
was
no?
in the first. It's always been in the first
Okay,
division.
but I just checked. They're not in the first
No,
division
I
now.
know. That's why I'm
They
getting there. I'm getting
got
there.
knocked
So
out.
back when I played there,
Right.
right, in the youth, it was always a mid-table team, right? Very
Okay.
steady.
Mid-table means it was in the middle
Yeah,
of the pact.
no relegations, no
Okay. How
champions.
many teams were in
About
when
about 18. So
18 teams?
yeah, so
Okay.
a couple seasons, they played in the top five. Some seasons, they were closer to the bottom, but they were always a very steady team in the Netherlands. So when I played there, so it was a good team, and I played there for I think 13 years.
So
In
how did you start playing football? Like, I mean, because in Holland, it's pretty much the only sport, right? I mean, there's other
Yeah,
sports, but that was the main
yeah. I mean,
sport.
Holland is obviously very differently organized than the US in terms of
In what way? Like,
amateur soccer, in terms of like how you experience playing soccer as a kid, right? Like in the US, it's everything's closely tied to your school or either to paid academies, right? You go more like as a recreational, you pay to play, and if you get picked up, I mean, you go to one of the academies, but most of it is focused on going to college, right?
in the
In
U.S.
the
Right,
US.
right.
So in Holland, there is a very much of a culture of every town,
Every kid
every
plays football,
city has
right?
its local soccer club,
Hmm.
right? Where the town, where if you're from this town, you start there, right?
Right.
There's no question. And if you're good, you're getting scouted all very early on for one of the professional teams in the area, right? So I
So
lived.
did your mom and dad want you to play or like,
No, not really. I mean, I played a lot of tennis too when I grew up.
okay, what
Um,
made you say I want to do football?
oof. It was like, honestly, it was what most of my friends
We're
play,
playing.
and I
Okay.
was in between tennis and soccer,
Okay.
and obviously tennis is a very you're playing it solo, right? It's like it's a tough sport.
So you like the
Early,
team
I
aspect more.
back then, I was thinking I had to choose because both got very busy.
So you were an athlete. You were a good
Yeah, I
athlete.
played I played both sports at
Right.
a pretty competitive level. So
Since what age?
I'm probably like 5, 6 years old. Yeah.
So you were playing tennis and football.
Tennis and football.
Okay.
Yep. So at one point,
So
right,
when was that shift where you're like, I'm not going to play tennis. I'm just going to focus
I
on
think that
football.
was around 10 years old, probably,
Mm.
when I really had to choose. And then I got picked up by Vitesse, right? I
Okay,
got,
so you were playing in your local team
yep,
in Arnhem,
yep,
and then Vitesse, which is the pro team, they
yep,
had a youth academy, and they said, we like him.
yes.
Okay, so what did they go to your mom and dad? How
Yeah,
did
no,
that
they,
work?
they sent like, so they sent a letter to your house, right?
Okay,
And to the club.
okay.
So they inform your club that, hey,
Was the club like, no, we don't want to
some
lose?
clubs sometimes do,
Okay,
usually not with young players, right? Because I mean,
yeah,
kids,
you
you
were
can't
10.
tell kids where to go, but sometimes it happens where older players and clubs don't really want to lose their player, and sometimes they are trying to interfere in their process, right? They try to
So was Vitesse like, how far was it from Arnhem? Was it in the same town?
Vitesse is in the town of Arnhem.
Oh,
I
so it
lived
is.
I
Okay.
lived close.
To the pro team.
I lived close by Arnhem,
Okay.
right? So
Oh, okay.
that's why Vitesse
Was
got to
perfect.
my local club because it was close by. So they're trying to fish in their pool, right?
So you didn't have the story like Ronaldo where he was in Portugal and he had to go and travel 8 hours or whatever it
No,
was.
no, hey,
You
traveling 8 hours in Holland, you're in.
No, no, no. I'm saying like he had to go
Yeah,
and leave his family at 14. You at 10, you still live at home and just go play
yeah,
at the
yeah.
club?
So what they do is because it's close by, right?
Yeah.
So they send a taxi to your house and
Mhm.
to your school every day, and they pick you up and drop you off. That's how they do it. So my parents.
So you went to school during the day and then you played after school, or how,
Yes,
how did that
yes.
work?
In the early days, you do that when
Okay.
you're young.
Okay.
Then you go to what's here high school,
Mhm.
and then you go to a special school that has a corporation with the club to pick you up and drop you off. So you go like I went to a different school than, for example, my brother and sister because I
So you
played
have
at
you have
Vitesse.
siblings. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had siblings.
Oh no,
Okay.
you didn't?
I
Yeah,
know.
one other brother and one other sister.
And did they play as well?
No,
Or
they
did your
didn't. They
brother?
didn't really
Okay, so
play.
you were the
Yeah,
player.
yeah.
Okay.
I was always a soccer player, and
Okay.
I went to a whole different school in a different town, because I played soccer, right? So I had
How
to.
was that for your brother and sister when you left? Like, did they
Yeah, I
care?
mean, they are older than me. They are five.
Oh, so they were
They're a
older.
bit
Okay.
older than me.
Okay.
So
Okay. So they were
we
already
never
making
really
their
had the
life.
same circle of
Yeah, yeah,
social
yeah. Okay.
circle.
I
So
thought they were your
it was
age.
easy for me to be like going to the different city, going to the different school,
Okay.
and you get into that whole basically structured program, right? And schedule of like every morning you get picked up to go to school, you
Yeah.
get picked up to go to practice,
Okay.
and you get picked up from practice,
Did
and
you
you
have
get,
training in the morning before
sometimes you
school?
do, yeah.
Okay. So
Sometimes you
what
get.
age? What age was that?
I did that during my whole high school.
So
So
like
what?
14,
Yeah,
15, 16.
yeah. Like what's high school? Like all
Well, here it's
13, 14.
freshman. Like you go ninth grade
Yeah, like
is
whole
you're a
when I
freshman.
was 13 till like 18, I was in that rhythm, right?
So
High
you
school.
train in the morning,
Yeah, I think two trainings in the morning,
okay,
2 days a week
with Vitesse,
with Vitesse.
okay.
And almost every day you practice after school.
And what age were you with? Were you like U16,
I
U15?
did. I ran. I had. I've been in all the
No, but
teams.
when you started, you had to
I
start with
started in the U. I believe it must have been U9s,
U9.
U9,
Okay, wow.
U8s.
Okay, wow. So you started young.
I started. I. I.
Okay.
I.
Did you
I
move up? Were you good enough to move
yeah.
up
So every
divisions?
year, right? They look at you and
Uh-huh.
they decide if you're good enough to go to the next year, right? Because
What if you're not good enough?
you get dropped out
You get
and you
kicked
get
out.
back. You go back to your local team.
Ah,
So
okay.
that's how it works, right? So every year
So you
there's.
had to be one of the best players to keep moving up, right?
I mean, it's not necessarily one of the best players. It's you have to be like just above a certain.
A
You have to be
level.
consistent too.
Right.
You know, you can be very good one year,
Hmm.
and then you go into like a growth spurt or whatever, and you
What
get injured the whole year.
what was good about you when you were a young player? Like what? Because you know every player has like some are fast, some are
Yeah,
strong, some are big. You know some players they're great with the ball. What was good about E?
I think.
Like what made you
Yeah,
such a good
I
player?
think what helped me is I was very all round, which is good in when you're young. It's good to be all round
You were
because
like a complete player.
I was pretty complete in the sense that I could do everything pretty well.
Like what? You could
I
attack, you
could
could
attack, I
defend.
could defend. I was very like I could easily follow the instructions of the coach.
So the
So
coach liked you. If
coaches
he
usually
said play go play center back, you would go play center
exactly,
back.
coaches usually like me because I was pretty good at playing in what the team needed me for, and I was also pretty like my level was always pretty consistent. So I didn't have big drops or big
When
peaks.
you say your level, how many goals did you score a year?
Well, I was not a striker. I played most of my time in the midfield
You were a
and
midfielder.
in the
Okay.
also
So
some
you weren't a goal scorer.
only very early on. Look, almost everybody starts as a striker, right?
Right, right.
So
So as
my
you went
first
on,
couple years
okay,
were as a striker.
you were scoring a lot of goals.
Yes, but
Okay.
I mean, as a striker, it's harder to keep that consistent level, right? It's like how many.
Why? Because you weren't big enough?
Yeah, you're not big enough. Also, how many players score 20 plus goals every single year?
Well, the
Like
best ones
the
do.
best ones. But I was never
Right.
like
You were
the
never the
top
best.
the
You were
top
good
ha-
enough to just compete.
exactly.
Okay.
And in the early years, that's good because if you have a down year, for example, and it's easy to get dropped out, right? Because every year they reevaluate and they look at you
So
basically.
you have to at this point, your nutrition has to be good. Like, are you on like a
I mean, you're
nutrition
like
schedule or no?
at that age, you
You're
don't,
just eating
you just,
shit. You're eating whatever you want.
we trained so much, like that was not really a worry. Like you
Okay.
trained every day, sometimes 2 times a day. So as a kid, you can eat everything. Like, like you can eat everything.
But you were
Uh,
just around with football players. You weren't around like your regular friends,
no,
right?
no, yeah. My whole world
Was football.
was football. Whole
So
world, yeah. From
every day.
my whole school life was football. So it's a different experience than a lot
So
of
you
other.
had the dream, since all you're doing is playing all day, to become pro,
Yeah, I
right?
mean
That's
that's
the
the goal.
goal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like you're just immersed in football. You're basically said goodbye to your family, right?
Yeah,
And you're just
I was
you was on your
away
own.
most of the days. Yeah,
So so you were on your own since you were how often did you see your parents?
I mean, obviously see them in the evenings and the early mornings, but it's like you do miss a little bit of the during the week. I
Oh,
mean,
right.
not
Oh,
that
no, yeah.
much,
Because
right?
you lived at home. You didn't live away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I keep
you get
remembering
picked
that.
up and dropped off.
Right, right, right.
But the days are very long,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So for my parents, it was very nice because they didn't have
They
to
have to
drive
deal
me.
with you.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you're gone for like a
Right,
lot of the days. I mean,
right.
obviously in the weekend, you hang out with them.
No, but don't you have games on the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, but then your parents
In
usually
between games,
come,
right.
or, but it's true. Like,
Talk about, all right, as a youth player growing up in Holland, when you played in Holland, and now you've seen what youth soccer's like, and well, you
mhm,
haven't really seen it yet because you're just starting your family.
yeah,
But there's a big difference when you're a youth player in the US versus in Europe, right? And I think the big difference is in America, you have all these different sports you can play. The parents are very involved. The parents are actually over involved, right?
yeah.
The moms, they pay for the tournaments, they pay all the things. Explain that big difference of soccer in the US as a youth player versus soccer in Europe as a youth player.
Ooh, I mean, I think a big difference is structure. I also think
What
a
do you
big
mean structure?
like structure on how the program of becoming a professional soccer player is designed, right?
So
Like,
you're saying there's no structure in the
I
US.
mean, I'm not saying that. Essentially, I mean more.
Because I mean now we have the MLS. I mean we
You
have
do, but I feel like it's much more school focused here, and there's much more like becoming a professional soccer player is different than trying to get a scholarship, for example. Like
okay. How do you mean? How do you mean
it's like, for example, I played in academy from a very young
that?
age,
Right.
right? And you get like you get basically the I mean the laws of soccer, right? Of football as the Dutch way of playing, they get drilled into you, right? Like from an early age in a structured way, right? Vitesse and almost
And
every
Holland has, obviously one of
Holland.
the
It's
best football programs in the
exactly.
world,
I'm
right?
not saying Vitesse necessarily, but in the youth,
Yeah.
most teams and most programs, you get taught the same style of soccer, right?
And if you're in Holland growing up, I mean, everyone's good. The
Exactly.
level is good.
Everyone is good,
Right.
and it's a small country, so
Right.
you always play the
How
best.
many people live in Holland? What's the
Right
population?
now, it's like 18 million,
18 million
but
people.
but it's small. Like, so you always play the best, right? Here, you can only play players in Florida or South Florida, right? Otherwise, you have to travel 8 hours,
Right.
right? Like,
Where over there, everyone's good. All the local teams are
oh,
good.
yep.
So the competition is, the level is much
Yeah,
higher.
you get up to the top much quicker, right?
Right. Right.
It's easier to play the best, and let alone all the infrastructure. So, um, I feel like here it's more fragmented in the sense that there's a lot of different types of academies, different types of, it depends a little bit on who your coach is, on what type of football you're playing,
Over there, all the
right?
coaches are Dutch.
Yeah, but they all think about the same, right? The basics of
Like the
learning
Dutch
the
way.
Dutch way is very
If
much.
you had to sum up, what is the Dutch way of football? Like what is
it's
the concept? It's the complete game, right?
it's a complete game, but it's
It's
it's a
attacking,
good
it's
question because
defending.
for me it's very natural. But like once I start playing here,
Right.
I learned that some very basic things for me,
Like
uh,
what? Like what?
like how you press, or how you
So when you say press, you mean how you
how
attack.
you attack, how
Right.
you make sure you're free in the field, like.
So how do when you see an American player versus a Dutch player, okay, and when you think about how I would press versus how an American player would
Yeah,
press, what do you see as the difference?
I mean,
And let's be real,
yeah,
man.
I don't
Let's be
know,
real.
no, but we're
'Cause I know
getting.
what you want to say, but
No, look, obviously the sense is that, and that you can watch college soccer here, right? Everything is full press. It doesn't really matter where you run.
everybody's just
you're
running.
just running,
So you're
right?
saying like here in the US, everybody's just running.
On this in some sense.
Right.
But look, obviously, if you go to these, like we've played against Inter Miami and teams, right?
Sure.
They are much more structured already.
Yeah.
But they still play in a different. They play a little bit more in an individual way, and more like it's more focused on how good you are as an individual in touches, in
They
passing, in
don't play the
shooting,
complete
but the
game.
complete game, like
Right.
what do you do without the ball?
Right.
Or what do you do if you see your teammate doing something?
Yeah.
How are you gonna respond or anticipate
And
to
and
that?
we'll talk about that because
Yeah,
I don't want to jump ahead,
yeah,
but
yeah,
you know, we had I used to coach a player many years ago who ended up playing for Inter Miami, and I won't get into we'll talk about it
yeah.
later. But bottom line, he went to Europe and he was humbled very quickly
Mm,
on his level, which he thought he was a very good player, and he was a good player here for the U.S. But when he got to Holland, he just got the coach was like, "No, you're
yeah,
not."
it's like you things that are maybe
And I remember that as a
yeah,
player, like when I was how old was I? I was like 18 or 19, and I went over to Europe. Okay, I will never forget. I was in Italy, and there was like a it was like a fourth division team. Okay, and I literally walked onto the team, and I was playing in college. I was I scored goals. I was fast. I had a great shot, but I didn't know the game the way the Italians knew the game. I got onto the field and I was fucking lost. This was back in
yeah,
1990, what was it? 1995. Okay? I'll never forget. I'm on that field and the coach says to me, "Joe, you don't know where to stand on the field." And I was like, well, wait a minute, I'm fast. I scored a lot of
yeah,
goals in the United States. You know, I made it to college. I was a goal scorer. And then you get to Italy and then you see the level, the way they
yeah,
play, and you're just like, man, I am so far behind. And now, as a country, we've done a lot to improve
yeah,
our level over the years. But I'm remembering back, you know, 20 plus years ago. I mean, the US was really bad. And now we're starting to
yeah,
get better and we're starting to get closer to a level. But still, even to this day, you coming here as a former pro player, coming to the coming to the United States, seeing the level here, right? There's still a big difference
I
between
mean, I
Holland
think
and the
there
US,
are
right?
amazing individual talents here.
Yeah.
It's the matter like how do you build
So you say amazing individual talents. What do you
yes.
mean by that? Like the
Mm,
players you see here in the
yeah,
US, right?
amazing potential in terms of
There's so much potential, right?
athleticism,
Yes.
technique,
Correct.
power. You know, a lot of modern soccer or modern football is athleticism, right? It's becoming more and more important. And obviously, there's so many players that have that here. It's more like how do you create that environment that they all know what to do at the
At the
same
same
time?
time.
That
Yeah.
that's it. That's the
Yeah.
thing. And because the country is so big and so diverse, right? It's hard much harder to create a culture like that than in a small country like Holland that has done it for like
Forever.
years and
I mean,
forever.
how many World Cups? How many you guys finished third in when? What?
I mean,
You
I
never
think
won the
no,
World
I
Cup.
think we lost like two or three finals of the World Cup. I mean, we won one European Cup.
You won the European Cup,
Yeah,
right?
we lost two or three finals.
I think in 1978 was it? You lost to Argentina in the final, right? I think it
Yeah,
was 78.
74. Yeah, what's
74.
it? 74, 78, and
74
2010,
Germany, 78
and
Argentina,
then 210.
and 2010,
Yeah,
right? And then you almost made it to the finals in
yeah,
the last World Cup, and
yeah.
I was so
I
rooting
mean,
for
which
you.
as a small country, right?
No, it's
It's
amazing.
pretty
It's
good.
amazing.
So,
I mean,
um,
Holland has produced some of the best players in the world. I mean, my favorite player growing up was Marco van Basten. He
yeah,
was
yeah,
number 9. I mean, he was your
yeah,
classic striker. I idolized that guy. I remember when he played for AC Milan. I used to sit and watch RAI. It was a little Italian channel
mm,
on when I lived in New Jersey, and I would watch the games, and I would just get so excited when he would come on the field. He was an amazing
yeah,
player. Rud Gullit, another
yeah.
amazing. Those are the
It's a
players that
good
I grew
times.
up with watching. There's so many great Dutch players. So anyway, so you're playing for Vitesse.
Yeah,
You're moving up,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when do you go pro?
So I signed my first contract when I was 18.
18. How
So
much? What did they pay you?
I mean, not that much. They pay you like what was it back then?
This was before the Euro or after the Euro?
No, after. No,
Okay.
we don't no good. No,
Okay.
like
No,
what was
I
it?
was there in Europe
I was
before the
like
Euro.
30.
That's why.
I think the average um like starting out contract is probably about 30,000 a year,
30,000.
probably, right?
Okay, but you're getting $30,000 to
For
play the
18 year
sports
old,
that you love.
and you can
Right.
you can drive a car. They give you a car or whatever. I mean, 18-year-old is amazing. Like
Yeah.
honestly, it's just more about becoming like you. If
And
you
were your
train,
parents obviously proud of you that you made
obviously,
it pro?
because I mean, if you play in those academies for so many years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a goal,
Right, to go pro.
right? To go pro, so you can then
So you basically, when you said you go pro, you made the first team, right?
yeah.
Is that what
So
that meant?
well, first you sign a contract, right? That
Mhm.
doesn't mean you're in the first team yet. It means um, that they think you're good enough to
To
pay you and
to
to
pay
keep
you.
you,
Okay.
right? That's basically what it means.
And how many teams does Vitesse have, just so people can understand? You
But
know, like the pro teams, they have the first team, and then they have a like a reserve
yeah,
team?
yeah, they have the first team
Right.
and then they have a reserve team.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
They call it the U21 or the
Okay.
U23s,
So
right?
when you signed that contract, you were either on the U21s or you would go to the first
Yeah.
team,
So
right?
basically, how it works is you sign your contract, right? You get to the U23s, right?
Mhm.
It's like a reserve team,
Yep.
right? The guys from the first team that don't play get dropped out, get dropped there,
Right.
and the young guys that are up and coming get dropped there, mixed together. And
Was everybody from Holland on the team?
no, we had a lot of players from Chelsea.
From England.
Vitesse had a big
So you had English players on your
yeah,
team.
yeah, a lot. Vitesse had a big
Just England, anywhere else?
we had some players from other countries too, but obviously like Vitesse and Chelsea basically had the same ownership back then.
Ah, was it
Yeah,
Abramovich?
so
He
he put
owned. I didn't know that.
no, he put one of his friends, so to say friends, in charge of Vitesse.
Ah,
So we got a lot of talent that Chelsea bought, right? But we're not
and they would
ready.
just trade them over to Vitesse?
No, so Chelsea bought them.
Because I would think, like, okay, if you're not good enough to play on Chelsea, you're going
Yeah,
to Vitesse. Is
yeah,
that what
yeah.
happened? Okay, I
Chelsea
figured. Yeah,
Chelsea buys. I mean,
yeah,
Chelsea has like how many players? 80,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
They
So they
they're
buy.
one of
They
the
just
biggest clubs in the
buy
world,
who
right?
they think, and it's their model, right? They buy like 50 players and they try to sell five for like 40 million,
Right.
right? And you make your money. That's a little bit, but
And the
so
rest go to Vitesse.
no, so they put them at Vitesse to get some
Right,
rhythm, right?
right.
To get some experience.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, like they're not ready for
Because
the
the
first.
Dutch league is not the same as the Premier League, obviously,
Oh
right?
no, no, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So if you're in Chelsea and you're not on the first team, where are you playing? I mean, what league are you playing in?
Yeah, no, no. You get sent to Vitesse to try to play in the
Ah,
Eredivisie,
okay.
right?
Okay. Got it.
Get some
Okay.
experience.
Right. Right.
But a lot of
Is
those,
that still to this day they have that
no,
partnership
not
or no?
anymore,
Not anymore.
not anymore.
Okay. So that was back then. All right.
But right. I mean, but a lot of those players from Chelsea were very young too,
Right.
right? So they're just kids and coming to Vitesse, and a lot of the times they didn't play at the first team because they were not ready.
Right.
So they ended up playing with me at the U23s, right? I was up and coming. They were trying to
So you were playing our U23. How old were you at this point?
at that I was like 18, 19.
18, 19.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that
So you're playing against guys that are 4 or 5 years older than you up to
at that
U23.
time, it's the age is no longer a thing.
And that's a big thing that you just said. Age is no longer a thing because here in the US, okay, when you play U16, you can only play with players that are 15 or 16. Only if you're good enough do they let you go and play like one level higher.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
now, what you're doing is, well, you have a pro contract, so it's different. So you're basically playing against guys that are much older than you, right?
yeah,
Up to
at that,
23.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you can have older players. It's just to call it like a
So you could have a
U23.
25-year-old playing on U23?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it's just a reserve. It's like a reserve team.
So
So
you're 18 years old playing against 25-year-olds, right?
yeah, yeah. At
Okay.
that time, yes.
And what's the youngest player that's on that team?
It could be like you said, it could be a 16-year-old.
So you
That's
could
good.
have a 16-year-old kid playing against a
Yeah.
25-year-old man.
Yeah, but then at
Okay.
that point, it's senior soccer, right? It's senior football. It's like you get it. You're done with the youth, right? You're
Yeah, but
going
hold on.
into
I don't think you understand, like here in the US, what that means. Like you don't see that a lot here in the US, right? Most parents will never let their precious baby 14 or 15 or 16-year-old go play with 24, 25-year-olds. I did that when I played semi-pro
yeah,
because I was hungry enough as a 16-year-old where I wanted to play on a men's team and I tried out and I made it and I got paid to play.
Yeah.
I was 16 years old. I was playing semi-pro in New Jersey for Ukrainian Seats, a
Yeah.
Ukrainian club. All ex-Ukrainian players, right? They all played first division in Ukraine and Poland,
Yeah.
and I was a 16-year-old kid who was hungry enough and good enough to play on that team. But where you played, you had all these talented players from 16 up to 23, all fighting to make that first team.
Yeah.
So, and they're all good. They're all talented.
Yeah, at that point it's
And everyone's fighting for a spot,
yeah, at that
right?
point it's fighting, you have the guys coming back from the first team that are disappointed,
Right.
right? And
So
they
you have
want
got
they
players
want
on
to
the
earn
first team that got demoted. The
they
coach
got
is
the
like, "You
most
suck. Go back to U23."
exactly.
And
That
they're like, "Who's the best on U23? Bring them
yeah,
up."
that's why
And you're like, "Call me. I'm
yeah,
ready
yeah.
to go up."
That's why
Right?
it's such a difficult team to manage as a coach because you get like disappointed players, older players.
Right. You get the
You get
guy that
hungry
had a
young
shitty
kids,
week
right?
the week before. He maybe got taken off.
Yeah,
He didn't score, or he played lousy, or he made a bad pass.
yeah,
And the coach is like, "You know what? You're going down to the
yeah,
U23
yeah.
team."
It's
That's like the biggest rejection I would think
exactly.
as a pro
So
player, right?
exactly. So mentally, it's a very strange team to be in because you're not really a team. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like in the youth, you're a team. You're with your friends, right?
Like if you're
Everybody,
U14, everyone's the same,
everybody's same age.
right?
Everybody,
But once you go pro, you have
it
no idea who's coming to that team.
exactly, and that's hard about
So you could have this Nigerian 24-year-old, right, who was doing amazing, and all of a sudden he just decides to start playing shitty, and the coach says, "You're going down to
yeah, yeah,
U23."
yeah.
And now you've got to interject that player into your
And now he's your
culture,
teammate, right?
and now he's your teammate, and he's like, "I don't fucking like you."
Yeah,
And
and
now you got to like find a way. Dude, how am I going to play with this guy? I've never played with him before.
exactly,
He doesn't even know how I move. He
exactly,
doesn't know when I'm going to make the run, when I'm not going to make the run.
exactly.
What if we don't communicate well on the
Yeah,
field? So now you have this new dynamic that you're
yeah.
dealing with. So how do you overcome all that to make it to the first team? What
I
did you
mean
do?
that is
What did you do in your mind to get to the first team?
that is why I say that before that football is a is a team sport.
Yeah.
After that, it becomes also a little bit of an individual sport because you can only control what you can control, right? Like you can only control your own performance, and
So okay, hold on. Let's talk about that. So you're playing on this team. You're fighting to get to the first team. Okay. You've got all these weird dynamics happening. You have to show up every week. You're not a goal scorer. So how does the coach know that E is good enough to make it to the first team? Like,
because
how do you set yourself apart?
then we go back to a little bit what I touched on, right? It's because of what the club wants in terms of how the club wants to play.
What does that mean? You
You
want to
you
win.
no you know
You want to win games.
no, but like the first team coach, right? That's a
Yeah.
goal. You want to try to convince the coach of the first team that he wants to play a certain way, right? You know that because how the first team plays,
Like maybe he wants to play more of an attacking style, as an
the
example.
usually the reserve team mimics the way the first team plays.
Okay.
Or the U23s mimics the play.
So when you say the way the first team plays, maybe they're playing like a 4-3-3
Yeah,
formation.
exactly.
Or a 4-4. For those that don't understand soccer formations, you have 11 players on the field. Typically, you have 4 in the back or you have 5 in the back. Those are your defenders. Then you have your midfield, which is typically 3, sometimes 2, or you have a holding. It depends. And then you have 1 or 2 strikers. And then you have your keeper. That's your 11 players. So that formation is what the coach is trying to do. He's trying
Yeah,
to figure out a style and how you're going to manage
yeah,
that game, right?
exactly.
So go ahead.
No, but usually like that. So if you can adapt your own play into that system, right? And you show the coach that you are able to do your job, right? You are able to do what the coach wants in that system. You become an interesting player, right? Because you become reliable for the coach.
So he
Um,
may say, "I want you to be like a workhorse. I just want you all day fighting for the ball,
exactly,
right? I just
exactly.
want you to be a grinding kind of player
And
all day."
if you're able to show that, right? It becomes less important of what your teammate does
Right.
because he is responsible for his own job,
Okay.
right? So you need to, especially in professional soccer, right? When in the end, it all comes down to winning and making the club successful and they earn more money, right?
How much money do they earn when they win? in
Ooh,
Holland?
I mean, you have bonus. Every player has bonuses in their
So
contract.
what was a bonus that you would get if you won?
I
Did you get a bonus if you scored a goal?
No, I didn't. In my in a in like your early contracts, usually you don't there are some things in there like when you become champions on the first, and you're with the first team, you get bonuses. I mean, I'm sure there are players with that type of details, but
Sounds like you had a shitty agent.
uh,
Shitty
I mean,
agent.
look, in the
You're
beginning,
just like, I want a
in the
contract.
beginning, you sign whatever is in front of
I'll
you, right?
sign
You
blindly.
sign blindly. Exactly. In the beginning, you sign blindly.
Right, right.
Um,
Then you realize, man, I got a shitty ass
I,
contract. I scored
I
20
mean,
goals. I get nothing.
I mean that happens all the time in football,
Of
right?
course, I
Like
know it does.
players all of a sudden start to perform, and
Right,
then they look at in the dressing room and they
right.
see
Then
like
the
so
diva comes out.
they
I'm your
see,
best goal scorer.
exactly, and then they start to like, oh, I'm not gonna practice until I get a better contract, right?
Oh,
And then like it becomes
we're very aware of that.
yeah.
So
So yeah, man,
okay,
that
so you're playing at Vitesse.
yeah.
You make the first team, right? What was the best moment you had at Vitesse as a player?
My best
Did you win anything? Did you win any
we
championships?
won the U23 league.
Okay.
That was maybe yeah, that was close by. That was one of my best years. I scored quite
How
some
old were you?
goals. That I was maybe it was I think my second year.
So you're
So
like
1920,
19 or 20 years old.
1920. So I played in that team, right?
Right.
We became champions. I
Nice.
played most of the
Nice.
year. I
Nice.
scored a bunch of goals.
And then
Um,
did you get promoted to the
I
first
got
team?
promoted to the first team.
Okay.
I joined the, the
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 first team,
yeah, I joined like the preseason camp
right?
in the winter,
Yeah.
right? In the pause.
Okay.
And then
Did you get
the
a raise?
yeah, I signed a new deal. I,
You got
I
a new
I
contract.
extended for 2 years. I joined the preseason in the first team.
Okay.
Um,
And
but
what
then I got
happened?
injured. Then I got injured.
What kind
So
of injury did you get?
I tore my ACL in preseason.
I've been there,
So
man.
I
Happened to
know,
me
man.
too.
It's yeah, that's a tough one.
So
So
what?
I
How did you
signed.
tear it? How did you tear it in a game?
No, man. It was So I
Let
so
me ask you this: were you going out and partying when you were
no.
playing?
But
Come
back
on,
then, man,
come on.
I
You never
was
had a moment where you're just like, guys.
I was focused. Look, I was.
Were there guys on the team that did that?
Oh man, yeah, of course.
Okay, but you weren't one of those.
No, man, I was not. No,
You were
not
like a
me.
goody
Look,
two shoes.
I
You
needed.
were the boring player. They were like, we're not hanging out with E
Look,
because he's boring.
I needed that consistency and discipline
Yes,
to have that level, right? Some
right.
players, they have that level and they
No,
just
they
trying
could
to
party.
control themselves, right? And they
Yeah,
party all the time,
yeah.
and but usually it comes back to yeah,
To
to
hunt them.
haunt you, right? But yeah, no, I was supposed to have the day off actually, and they called me to train from the first team,
Okay.
and I went to the pitch and
You showed up. You
showed
trained.
up, misstepped, and tore it. So
Were you devastated?
yeah, I mean, you don't really like, um, you don't really think like how bad of an injury it is at first,
Right.
but then you start to
Did you have the
realize
surgery?
I did had a surgery. I mean,
How fast did you have the surgery after?
oh quickly.
Did you want to just have the surgery to get back to playing, or
No,
what went
they
through your mind?
look. I got lucky in the sense that I was with a very good staff and 24/7 treatment on the knee to get me back, right? Because I just
You did have the surgery, right? So
like
like
I just signed a new 2 year deal, and
so they
I
had to
got
get
it.
you back to
Yeah, they
playing
had, yeah.
shape.
Otherwise, look, every club, an injured player is
It was a
useless.
liability.
It's a
Right.
liability.
Correct.
You pay the money, but
Right.
they don't. You don't have any value, right? You're on the. So they're
So
trying.
how long were you out for when you had the injury?
I was basically from the 2 years. I was out almost a year and a half.
18 months.
Yeah, I had some.
So the coach was like, let's just get rid of him. He's
I
useless.
mean, it's not like that. Obviously, the coach,
He wants to see how
the
you're going to play.
coach that the coach that was with me when we became champions and I had my good year. He was also the one that brought me to the new club.
Okay.
So he liked me right as a
Right.
player,
Right.
um, and that's how a lot of that
Were
world.
the other players like, he's injured, I can take his spot now?
Oh, everybody thinks like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's I mean in professional football,
Sports. Right.
it's all like that. I mean,
So okay, so you recuperate, you get back, right? You're reconditioned. What happens? You go on the field. Are you the same player or no?
No, not at first. No, I mean, the
Were you
knee injury.
afraid?
Yeah, like a knee injury. It's almost like you have to like relearn
Yeah,
some like very
basic movements. You lost muscle,
yeah, you lose muscle,
right?
but also like you lose a little. You need to relearn a little bit like those little split-second movements, right? Like you
Was your
think.
family telling you, "E man, just give it up,"
No, 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 no.
or were they like, "Come on, you can get
Mm,
back"? They were supportive.
yeah, of
They were
course.
very
I mean,
supportive.
yeah.
No, not every
Mm.
family's supportive.
No, but
Like
I never like dropped out of school or something,
yeah.
right? So I kept that going. So it was not like
Did you have a girlfriend back then or no?
no, back then, no, no.
You was just
I
training.
was just focused
Dude, what would you
on
do for
football.
fun?
I mean, I had a lot of friends in
Right.
Arnhem. Like, I mean, look, it's not like we didn't do any
Yeah.
fun stuff,
Yeah, you
right?
went
I mean,
you
look, we
partied.
did, yeah,
Right. Right.
sometimes, or you just do whatever. You
Right.
go hang out,
Right. Right.
like
Right. But
place.
football was your focus. That's all
Yeah.
you were focused on.
So that after that injury, I moved to Belgium, right? I went to play for a club there.
Oh, wait, well, hold on.
I got
So you got cut?
I got the opportunity to. I got a chance to either resign for one more year
Okay.
or go to play in a pro team in Belgium.
First or second division?
And back then in Belgium, they had the first division, and they had like they call it a 1B, and there were only like 8 teams that
Okay.
were very close to the first division, and it was in that league. So it was the pro. It was basically the second league
And
of
how
Belgium.
far is Belgium from Holland so people can understand? It's not that far, right?
No, it's not that far, but
But the language is
it
different. They
was
don't.
near Brussels. So
What do they speak in
I was in the
Belgium?
French part of Belgium.
Okay.
So French.
They speak French.
Yeah, it was only
And
French.
so do you speak
No, I
French?
don't speak French.
So
So
what did you do? How did you
yeah, man,
communicate?
it's
You
like
got to learn.
you gotta. Well, look,
You learned while you were there.
I learned something. Like French was not my strong suit, so
Yeah.
it
How is it like living in Belgium versus living in Holland?
mm,
What's like in one word, what was the biggest difference?
oh, it's people. Like it's just, I mean, the French part of Belgium is very French. Um, it's just different, you know. Like if you don't speak the language, like a lot of
They
things,
look at you as an outsider.
yeah, that and a lot of things just go past you, right? You're just in your own.
Okay, so you're in Belgium, you signed for this team, you're playing for this team. What's the name of the team?
AFC Tubize.
AFC
Yeah,
Ibiza. Okay. So you're playing for them, same position that you were playing in
midfield.
the
Yeah,
chess
yeah, yeah,
midfield?
midfield.
Okay,
Yeah,
you were center mid, right, left? What did you
usually
play?
right mid.
Right mid.
Yeah,
Okay, so you're playing right mid. Pretty competitive, I'm assuming, just like in
yeah. I
Holland.
was
Was it
pro.
more competitive or less?
It was
What was
more.
the quality? Was the level
It
better
was
or
more.
worse?
It was much more professional, like more adult than the
More older players and
older
younger
play. Yeah, it
players?
was like a proper senior
And
professional
what
league.
happened in Belgium? Like,
Uh,
did you
I
do
mean,
well or no?
I did do well in the first part of the season.
And then,
I'll do well. Like I played a lot,
okay.
which, but it was a brutal physical program we had there. It was like we trained every day, twice a day.
Was that
I,
hard on your knee?
yeah, and I just came back.
Right.
So like I burned out after like 4 months, and like I started dealing with some injuries, and
So you got other injuries as well.
I got yeah, you get to like some muscle things, and the coach got fired
And the new
after
coach
four
came
months
in.
in. A new coach came in, only spoke French.
Oh, you're
So
done.
I was done.
You're
Yeah,
done.
I was done. Like I was
It's
just
like I don't want this guy who
yeah, I was
doesn't
not.
fit into our culture.
Yeah, I was not in the plans of the coach. So
So he got rid of you.
yeah, yeah, I got
So you
sent
got
to
so what? So okay. So now you're like, okay, I've just dedicated all these years to
yeah.
playing this sport. Okay, I get this fucking injury. I have a damn ACL injury. I recouped. I worked my way back. They send me to Belgium. I go to this other country. I try to make it. I do well for the first year. They fire the coach. Now they got this French guy. The guy doesn't like me. I leave. What do I do with my
Yeah.
life? So what did you decide?
Yeah, that's I had some time to think about that, and then I decided like, look, I was
So you went back
basically
home to your family? Like what'd
no,
you do?
I had basically the choice between two things, right? Either I go back to Holland and I try to
Make it again.
rejuvenate my soccer career
Yeah.
at a lower division and
Right.
try to go back, right? Try
Right.
to
Work your way back.
That was one option. And
Or
the second option was to just completely
give up the
do
sport.
something different. Not give up the sport, but do something different. Like I was always in that soccer world, right? Like just do something completely different and go
And that different thing was come to the USA.
come to the USA, man.
So
Like
like let me ask you, like, had you ever been to the US before?
I had like actually so two of my good friends went to the US to
Okay.
play college soccer.
Okay.
So I signed a contract at Vitesse.
Right.
They decided to go to the US and play college soccer.
Why did they want to go to the US instead of
I
staying?
mean, it's like if you're not
Like,
if you're
if you're from Europe, what's the attraction of coming to this country?
because
Money?
no, look,
Freedom?
if you're not offered a pro contract, it's very interesting to get a full scholarship in the US, get your college paid for, and play soccer.
Right, because there you don't really go to college, right? Or you could go
Yeah.
to university in Holland,
Yeah, I
right?
did,
There's
but
university.
it's not the same
Not the
structure.
same.
Not the same structure. So
Okay, but let me ask you, like, let's say you're a player and you decide not to come to the US, and you decide to stay in Holland, and you go to the university. Are you just not going to make as much money?
I
Are you
mean,
kind of
it's
limited?
not really about making money. It's more about you're like kind of giving up a little bit on becoming a pro player, but
Okay.
you're just there for the college experience, right? Getting a free tuition.
For US. I'm
Yeah,
saying in Holland, like if you would have stayed in Holland,
yeah,
what would you do if you're not a player anymore? Like
yeah,
what
yeah.
do you do?
You go into back into the regular.
You just become a regular person. You
Like
go, you get
yeah,
a job,
get a
you
job.
that's it. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what made you say, I'm going to go to is it because you want the college scholarship?
No,
Because is it
no. I
really
went.
that attractive to have a college scholarship from America?
No, but I went for my master's, so I was already done with college.
Okay, so you went for a master's degree.
I went for a mess. Like I just look. I wanted to get away from um the soccer
World.
life I had in Belgium
You
and
wanted
in
to
the
do
US.
something random, totally different. And you
Totally
had some
different.
friends that
And
came
I
to
had
the
some friends,
US.
and I loved. I mean, it was in San Diego, so obviously San Diego is amazing, right? I visited there, and I was like, man, why would I go back to Holland and play at some random team and try to, get back, my injuries and stuff. If I, you know, go to San Diego, get my master's,
So you went to San Diego, California.
San Diego,
From
California.
Holland all the way to San
Yeah.
Diego. Okay, that's a big shift, right? Totally different lifestyle. You play soccer for the
I
college?
played semi-pro there.
You played
No, I
semi-pro.
didn't play for the college. I played in a semi-pro team called
Okay.
ASC San Diego,
Okay.
and we actually had a very
And
good
what
year.
level was that compared to what you were playing if you had to make a comparison?
I mean, it is like a good, it's like a decent amateur team
Okay.
in Holland.
So Vitesse versus ACL San Diego. What was it called? ACL?
ASC San Diego.
ASC. What's the level difference? Like if Vitesse played, what would the score be? If they
I
played
mean, but
each
that's
other?
pro versus that would
No,
be
no,
like,
I want to know. I'm trying to
I mean,
understand.
that would be like
10-0.
yeah, let's say 10-0, right?
Okay. Okay.
So
So this was like what, third, fourth division?
yeah, probably fourth, fifth division.
Fourth, fifth
I would
division.
say.
Okay.
Actually, we had a pretty good team. Like I would say, like fourth, yeah, between fourth and fifth division.
And that team was made up of players from where?
From everywhere. You know how it is. Like it was just like
No, in San Diego, I mean, you had a lot of Latin players, maybe.
yeah,
Brazil.
some Mexican guys.
Okay.
You know,
Do you have any Europeans on the
some
team?
older, some former college players, right?
American
Some D1,
players?
D2 college players.
Okay.
So it was good, but it's not like it's a little bit. I mean, it's just.
And when you show up there as a guy who played pro in Holland and you come to this fourth or fifth division team in San Diego, are you like, man, this level sucks?
Look, no, I mean they love to have me. I think one thing it is that especially in those countries, the level between the best guy and the worst guy is very big, right? In Holland, that level is much smaller. So we had like a group of players, maybe 5, 6 guys that were very good.
And in the San Diego team.
In the San Diego team, but
Okay.
also the bottom 6 players were very bad.
Right.
Right. So that difference, it's hard.
It kills you on the
It
field.
kills you on the field. But
Right.
in Holland, that level is much smaller. Everybody's
Everybody's good.
Everybody can play a 6.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and you have a couple guys playing 8 or
Right.
9, and
Right.
you have a very solid performance. If you have 3 guys in your team that play a 2 or a 3,
Right. You're done.
like you're done. You're done because they and you know, like we've seen it in so many games, right?
Yes,
And like
absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
so that is a little bit where you run into. But I
So all
mean,
right, so you're
look, I
playing
but I
for
wasn't there to I
the
wasn't there primarily to play soccer.
yeah, you were
I
there
was
to get
there
the
exactly to get my
masters.
masters
Okay.
and play soccer on the side.
Okay, so you were just playing for fun,
Yeah.
right? And then how do you end up in Miami?
Mm. So I mean, that's a long story too, man.
No,
Like,
but I mean, give me the
yeah,
10,000 foot version.
no. So I had to finish my master's, and I had to do a project for work. I had to work and write like a thesis about it, to get my
Okay.
degree. And I knew some Dutch guys that wanted to start a soccer school in Miami. And
And so for the audience, just so you understand, there is this, I wouldn't call it a phenomenon because it's been happening forever since I was a kid, but ex-players from Europe or just Europeans in general will come to the United States and they'll either open up a soccer school or they start to do private coaching and
yeah,
they'll say, "Hey, I was a former player in Europe." And sometimes they were former players, but sometimes they're fucking pizza guys that pretended like they were soccer players and they come here and look, I hate to say it, a lot of people in this country they're just ignorant when it comes to Europe and culture and things like that. And they'll be like, "Oh, he's from Italy. He must be good." And the guy was literally like a pizza maker in
yeah,
Italy, but he's like, "Oh, I speak Italian and I'm
yeah,
great. I played for Juventus." And they go and they pay this guy money and
yeah,
he's training them
yeah.
and they have no
It does.
idea if he's actually a good player or not. So that exists. So,
Yeah,
okay, so you had these Dutch guys in Miami that wanted to start a soccer school.
yeah,
Okay. So they reached out to you,
yeah,
right? And they said, "Hey, come start this with us."
yeah.
So you go.
I go.
Okay.
And I brought one of my best friends that was in San Diego. I brought him with me to do it together with me, right? So we
Right.
are both in Miami. I never
Right.
been to Miami, right?
Oh my
Like
God.
knew nothing, right? Like
You have
we
no
were
idea
there.
what you're coming
We were
into.
in a place in Brickell,
You go from
right?
what town were you from?
Lu-
In Holland?
Lunteren, small city.
Lunteren to
Yeah,
like Miami.
yeah, exactly. And
I mean,
we
you
were
couldn't
like,
get any
oh, you
more.
guys let's start a soccer school,
Right,
knowing
right,
nothing, right?
right.
So obviously, oh man, there are so many. Like it was a very naive thought, right? Looking back,
No, but it was an experience.
it
You
was
did
an
it.
experience. I mean, obviously there were a bunch of things happening with. It was the time with COVID, right? So
So very
obviously
tough.
it
Yeah.
was a very tough time to do something like that. So and the ownership of I worked with was chaotic, right?
Yeah.
They were not here. Miami is a completely different world. Like they had done some projects in the US, right?
How did you compare
But
San Diego to Miami
I
when you
mean,
got?
Miami is like
I don't even
how
know how
to
to
compare it?
explain
It's like
Miami. You have every culture from Latin
yeah,
America
exactly.
here,
It's like
right?
it's so much more like intense and different and like things you think are normal or can count on
This is
are
this is
sometimes
this is
upside down,
Miami
right?
is definitely not like any other city in
So
the
a
United
good
States.
example, just maybe I won't go through the whole story, but like a good example was and a funny story was, and you see a little bit where the differences were, right?
Yeah.
So we came here and we said, okay, we're gonna start a soccer school. That was the idea. Start a soccer school, right? Like get a bunch of kids, Dutch way, blah blah blah, and one of my friend, right? He said one of the owners from back in Holland said, okay, so I want you to go to this and this field, to this and this soccer. I know there are a lot of kids there
Yeah.
because there are some academies there,
Right.
and I want you to flyer with the
Pass out
pass
flyers.
out flyers for the kids to join our
Right.
Dutch academy,
Right.
right?
Like former Dutch pro
Yeah,
players,
like
right?
exactly,
Yeah.
and try to like,
And you're like putting
and
the
try to
flyers on the
yeah, and try to
cars
go to the parents and like, hey, why
with
are
your
you
Dutch
like
accent. They're
why are
like,
you
"Where are
here?
you
Yeah,
from?"
exactly. Like why are you
To these
here?
Cuban moms.
Yeah, just like and like thinking a little bit like, oh yeah, good idea, like we gonna reach out to
So what
our
happens?
customer, and I think he tried 3 fields, and he almost got into a fight in 2 out of 3
With
because
what? With who? The coaches or from?
coaches, the parent. I mean, they were. they were thinking they were stealing like they were thinking this guy
Right,
comes
right,
stealing our clients, right?
right, right, right.
Stealing
Right.
our
I mean, you kind of are
stealing
stealing
our
their
food, right?
clients.
Like,
You kind
am
of
I,
are, though. You're
am
literally
I
going to someone else's youth facility, and you're like, "Hey, leave
no,
this
but
team and come play the Dutch way."
for him it was just like a park
Right,
where kids are playing
right,
soccer,
right,
and you're
right.
just
No,
trying
no, it's
to like,
very territorial.
I
Very
know. So
territorial.
that is one big difference. Like he got like yelled off the property at first minute. Like nobody was having this. Like, you want to come on our
No,
territory,
I
and
mean, I kind of understand
no,
it though.
me no, of course
I
I
mean,
understand.
they're paying for the field, they're renting the field. These Dutch guys show up with their
Exact
orange hair, and they're just like, "Hey, want to play the Dutch way?"
exactly. But like my friend didn't. We were just there, and we were like, okay, we need to start somewhere. Like, how do we?
So what did you do? How did you get? Did you get players?
No, that's when we started to going into private coaching. Like, we started
One on one.
more like smaller groups, 1-on-1, 2-on-2, right, and go
All
that
right.
way.
So, like, if you don't understand what private soccer coaching is, okay, you're a mom or dad, you've got money because it's expensive, right? What do you typically charge? $100?
Yeah, I think something like that.
$100 to do one-on-one training with your child to make them a superstar, to
Yeah,
learn the Dutch way or the Italian way or whatever way, right? And you teach them how to move with the ball, how to control the ball, how to do all these things, right? And that's a way to make a living, but you
yeah,
can't really make a living doing that unless you have hundreds of kids, right? And I don't think you had that. You had a few
yeah,
kids, right? But some of these parents would pay like ridiculous money, I would think, to have you train. They'd be like, "Oh, you're a former pro player. You're from Holland. How much you want? Train my son.
mm,
Make him a Messi."
mm,
Right? So they would pay you that money, and
yeah,
you would train the kid, right?
yeah,
So, okay. So you're training, and then we meet. How do we
yeah.
meet?
Wait, before we go into that, can I take a quick
Can we do that?
bathroom break?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right, so you meet me about 5 years ago. I think we were playing at this place called Red Cocha, and Red
Yes.
Cocha is like it's owned by these two Colombian brothers. I think they're in North Miami. It's an indoor field. A lot of guys have played there. We used to play there all the time. It's like little mini soccer. It's like 5v5, and that's what a lot of guys do. They like to play indoor or just get their touches in and play. So we met there and we were playing there.
Yeah.
And then I remember you came to me and you learned my background. And
Yeah.
I've had teams over the years. I've had clubs. I even had a partnership with Venezia FC, which is now playing in Serie A. When they were bought by Joe Tacopina years ago, and they wanted to make an American youth academy. They called me because I knew someone who knew the attorney there, and I was working with this Italian guy, kind of like
Yeah.
you. He came from Italy, and he's like, "We should start a youth academy." And I was like, "Okay, let's start a youth academy." We threw some money into it, and all of a sudden, we were the official
Yeah.
American Academy of Venezia FC in
Yeah.
Italy. And I was the owner, and we had coaches, and man, that was a drama filled event. That was my last run with youth soccer. I said I will never ever own a youth team
Yeah.
again. I just when you're dealing with the parents and US soccer, it's just very very different. The tournaments, the drama, there's just so much great memories, but I was like I'll never do this again. And then you approached me and you said we should do something, right? And you said we should start a team.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't want to do a youth team. She said, no, let's do an adult team.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought about it and I said, well, that'd be kind of good because we wouldn't have to deal with the parents. Because I was like, as long as I don't have to deal with the parents, I could see myself doing it. And I still like to
Hmm.
play. At the
Yeah.
time I was in my earlier 40s. I was like, let's do it. So we decided to start a team and we called it Dade County Football Club.
Yeah.
And who made the logo? I think
My wife.
your wife made the
Yeah, my
logo,
wife
right?
waited. My wife did almost all the marketing, man. It's
She did
like
the initial
the
marketing,
logo,
right?
the
And we
jerseys.
were like, all right, so we have this team, we have this idea, this concept. We got to go to a tournament, right? So I remember the first tournament we went to, we didn't even have a team together. It was like you, Me,
Oh
my
man,
son
yeah,
Joey.
I'm trying to remember. That was like, what was it, like the Magic City
It
tournament,
was a
like a set.
Magic City tournament, and it
Yeah,
was like a fusion of like of technology, businesses, and
yeah,
soccer. And I'm like, all right, we're going to a tournament. We got to get a team together.
yeah.
So it was you, it was me, it was my son Joey. We
Joey,
had like a
the
65-year-old
the
goalie,
Brazilians,
the
the two
Brazilians,
Brazilians.
right? Right. We
Uh,
had Rui. Rui was an ex-player in Brazil. We
yeah.
had
I'm trying to remember.
one of the goalies was this older guy,
Luis,
Luis,
yeah.
right? The guy was like 65 years old, but he could still dive. And then we had the guy from Senegal, Didier. Remember
Oh,
him?
he was there at the beginning.
DDA was on the team, and we had Crazy Mike from Indoor Red Cocha.
Ah,
Remember Crazy Mike, the
yeah,
Ecuadorian guy? He was there.
yeah,
And I was like, all right, let's go to this tournament. And, I'm very competitive still to this day. I don't like to lose. So we go to this tournament and we actually do okay. We lost one, we won one, and we tied one.
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah. And we didn't even have, we bought, it was our first jerseys.
yeah,
Like we didn't even have jerseys. And, and I said, all right, we're going to do this.
yeah,
So then we're like, okay, we got a team. Now we need a field, right?
yeah,
So imagine you're starting a men's team in Miami-Dade County, right?
yeah,
There are hundreds of youth soccer teams. There's a huge men's landscape of soccer
yeah,
teams in Miami. So I'm like, where are we going to compete? Where are we going to find players? So me, I'm a big thinker guy. I'm like, either go big or go home.
yeah,
So I'm like, let's go to the state. Let's find a stadium. So we go to Tropical Park, right? I'll never forget. And you call up some of your friends, and all of a sudden, we're going to do trainings at Tropical
yeah.
Park, right? And I think the first time we only had like what, 8, 9 guys,
Yeah,
right?
I think
And you were running the training.
I did. Yeah, I did the training,
You were
but
you
like
were like a
I think
player coach.
just to go back a little bit, like we were coming from the point of view that like I still wanted to play, right? I mean, I just came
Yeah,
from San Diego. I
right.
just had a
You were
great,
20, what, 27,
yeah,
28?
something like that, and I
Yeah,
just had a great semi-pro experience in San Diego.
right.
So I came to Miami, and I
Let's
was
do a
like,
semi-pro team.
"Let's go!" Like
Right,
I'm ready. And I
right,
was looking around, right,
right.
and I saw,
And you
I,
played in some
I
shitty
saw some
Sunday
yeah, I
leagues.
saw some teams, and I played in some Sunday League teams, and I
Right.
was like, man, like
This
like
sucks.
yeah, like every week you were playing with a different 11.
You're like,
Like
I
yeah, I
could
mean,
build
like
something
first of all,
better.
every week you play with a
Right.
different 11. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, it's a little strange,
Right,
but like
right, right, right.
then okay, so nobody trains.
And you wanted something more organized.
I wanted, yeah, I wanted structure. I
Of
wanted
course, you came from a
organization.
pro team in
Yeah,
Holland.
exactly, right?
Right, right.
And I know you obviously like you're also like you like to do things properly
Well,
and
I
well.
don't
So
like to
like,
do things shitty.
right? And you know the
If I go in, I do it fucking right.
exactly, and
That's
you
it.
know the culture, and
Yeah,
like so. I mean, you were on the same page. I was like, why don't we do a semi-pro team
yeah.
that takes things seriously? Like at
100%.
least like have a schedule, have a
Right.
roster. Have a consistency, right?
Correct.
Like make sure we're on time, right? Like make sure we have proper things,
Not on
right?
Miami time.
Exactly. So that was a little bit like, let's have some very basics. Let's do them right,
Right.
and like
So you wanted to bring that European culture
yeah.
of organization from Holland to Miami.
Exactly, and that
And
I
that
think,
doesn't exist.
I think that's where most of our stories come from, right? The things
That does not exist in
things
this
that we
town.
thought like, okay, let's do this,
Right.
and like, okay, this is, we think are normal, right?
Right,
Like,
right, right.
and
And what I had, what I loved about you was like, look, he's European, he gets it, he understands the importance of organization, even though you were younger than me, because
yeah,
I'm like 20 years older than you. I was like, but you know what? He comes from a culture where they're organized, they get it, they understand the
yeah,
importance of being on time, giving effort, giving 200%, not giving up, not quitting, not this shitty mentality that people have today where they're lazy, they show up late, they're not about the team, they're all about themselves. And you were like, you had that attitude. I'm like, this is perfect. This is the perfect kind of guy I want to work with. So we go and we start
yeah,
Dade County, right? And then you don't know me yet, but you don't know how
yeah,
intense I can be.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm just like, listen, man, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this right.
yeah,
We're gonna go all the fucking way. We're not just gonna be a good team. We're gonna be the best team, the best semi-pro
yeah.
team in this fucking town. Okay. So what do? We go and we hold a tryout.
So yeah, so we got Tropical Park, right?
Yeah.
So
And if you don't know what Tropical Park, it's a Miami-Dade County park. It's in the center of Miami. Stadium seats around 7,000 people. Columbus High School plays their games there every year for football. It's really a
Yeah.
football stadium, but it's a beautiful turf facility and it seats 7,000 people. The only problem is there's no cover, so during the summer you die of heat. But go ahead.
But yeah, so I mean, in the beginning, we rented this whole field, right? And we were literally playing there with like 9 guys, right?
Right.
From
So we have this whole stadium and there's 9 guys on the whole stadium, right? And
yeah,
I'm like, fuck it, let's just keep
make
paying.
it,
People will come.
yeah, people will
People will
come.
see that we have this amazing stadium and they're going to want to be a part of this, right? So what happens? So then we go and we start to do a little bit of advertising
Yeah,
and you start to spread the word.
yeah,
And the word starts to get around that there's a men's team in Miami where they're very organized. They're better than most of these other clubs. These guys don't, they're serious. They run it like a pro team.
I think there are so little good options that every time you start something and do it and announce it properly
Correct.
and offer something, people will come just try it
They're
out. Right?
curious.
They're curious. So even if you're already playing at another team, right?
Right.
You just
You're
you
just
just
like,
stop by, right?
huh,
Like
what is that?
yeah,
What are they doing? And you've got this guy from Holland. You've got this American business owner. You're like, wait a minute, they got something different going on. Let's
they have
just
a
go
nice
check it out.
field,
They got a
like
nice field. I'm playing on this shitty ass field.
yeah,
I'm like, my coach doesn't speak English. Like, let me see what this is
yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah,
So they show up, and all of a sudden, we've got like 35 guys at our tryout. And I'm like seeing players like really good players,
yeah.
players from Argentina, players from England. You remember the Black Panther?
Oh, of course, yes, yes,
We
yes.
had players that were like phenomenal showing up to our team. And I'm looking at Ian, he's looking at me, and we're like, we need a coach. You can't coach the team.
Yeah,
You got to play.
when like did we started in the UPSL right away, right?
Yeah.
Or no? Uh,
So we first had to get a team together. So the first thing we did was we had to get a roster, right? So at first we were like taking everybody on, right? We weren't really
yeah,
as
yeah, yeah,
selective.
yeah, yeah,
So we had some players that they just wanted to go pro so bad, but they sucked.
yeah,
But they just had the heart, and we kind of made an exception for them, right? And we're like, okay, you have 2 left feet, but you know what?
yeah.
You
You
come
show
to
up,
every, you
you show
show
up,
up,
you know.
you pick up all the balls, you get to come to the team, right? And then we had other guys that were actually really good. We had some solid
Yeah,
big players. We had some serious players. So we had this combination of like really good players and shitty players. And you were being the player coach. And I remember I said to you, I was like, E,
you can do this.
we can't do this, man. We need a coach.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
people are starting to look at us like, let's go find a coach.
So that is when we trained at Tropical Park, right?
Hmm.
And we trained in the mornings.
Oh,
Was it already when we trained in the mornings, or there was like I'm trying to think that very first year did we start?
I
Did we train at Tropical Park already in the mornings? I'm trying to think if that was already.
we were training. Okay. So we were trained. Okay. Here's the other thing that was different about our club. We were insane enough to train at 6 a.m. in the morning. Now, keep in mind, all these people on this team, they all have jobs, they all work, they go to college, and they're showing up at 6 a.m. to come train with us because we're a serious club. Even though we're semi pro, we're treating this like it's a pro club. So you got to show up and train in the morning before you go to work,
Yeah,
right? So now we've got these guys showing up, and then I go to you, we need a coach, man. Like, enough's enough. And let's start to put some scrimmages on to see if we can even play against other
yeah,
teams. So we go and we play. There's a few other teams already existing in this that already play that are semi-pro, and one of our first games I think was against Juventus.
Juventus Academy
Okay,
probably. Yeah,
and for those of you who don't know, Juventus was started by a guy in Italy. I'm not going to get into the details, but this guy, I don't know how he got the contract to get the Juventus sign, but he started this youth academy, and now he's got one of the biggest youth academies in all of Miami, and they have a pro team. They have a semi-pro team. So we decided to play them. So we show up to that game, and we actually held our own. I
I
think
remember that.
we
Yeah,
lost like 4-2,
yeah.
but these guys had been playing together for years.
Yeah, that was like
They had like
one of our.
Russian assassins on their team. They had that guy Marco, the Italian guy. He
Yeah,
was like he was like a Pirlo. They had a bunch of good
that
players.
was one of our first games. I
First
think so.
games.
Yeah,
And we held our own. And from that moment on, I said, we have got to find a coach.
Yeah.
So who did we get? Who was our first
Our
coach?
first coach was
Martin from Argentina.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
we hire this guy Martin, okay? And I loved Martin. Martin had this like fun personality. He was very easygoing. He'd show up. He was always like 10 minutes late, but he would show up. He'd have his plan. He'd say, "Okay, chicos,
Yeah.
vamos." And the players loved him, especially the Latins. They all loved him.
Didn't speak English.
He didn't speak a lick of English, right? But you know what? He was our coach. And we go into the UPSL.
Yeah, so
Right.
that's when we registered for the UPSL. I
Right.
remember that.
And if you don't know what the UPSL is, it's the United Premier Soccer League. And in the US, the soccer system, the way it works is you have the Major League Soccer, MLS, which is the top tier. And then underneath that, you have the USL, right? You
Yeah.
have the USL champions. You have USL 1, USL 2. It's kind of like second division, third division. Then you have NPSL, right, which is kind of on the
Yeah.
same level, right?
Yeah.
And then I think you have, what's the other league? I think there's another league. There's one more, I think.
UPSL and
I think mainly it's
so like,
USL, and then
yeah,
everything underneath, everything falls
it's all
underneath
about the
that.
same thing.
Yeah. So UPSL is kind of like, I'd say, fourth division, right? You can maybe argue third division in some cases, but it's really like fourth division in Europe. So we sign up for the UPSL, and this is our first time playing in the league. We got a coach now. We've got players. We've got about a 22-man roster. We got like almost a 30-man
At this
roster.
point, we had a roster.
So we had to go
We
get a
we had,
sponsor.
we had. I don't know if we had kids yet, but we had a coach. We had a roster. We were training.
We had to go get jerseys.
We had to go get jerseys, and we registered for the UPSL. And I think we got right away accepted into the first division
Right.
for some reason.
Yeah.
Because they looked at us and said, like, these guys.
They looked at it like, man, they look organized.
They look organized. And I put them in the first division, right?
So we go into the UPSL, and I think we're like, then we have to get jerseys. Then we need a sponsor,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, who the hell's going to sponsor us?
Yeah.
So I'm like, screw it. My company will
Yeah,
sponsor
yeah.
us. So I dump the money in, right? We sponsor the team. We're paying the coach. Things are coming together.
Yeah.
Things are going really well. The trainings are going well. Then I think it was like the third game into the season. I get a
Yeah.
call like 2 hours before the game. And I'm like, hello? And it's some woman on the phone. And she's like speaking in Spanish. And, yo hablo español.
Yeah.
So I speak Spanish. And I'm like, okay, how can I help? And she's like, yeah, I'm calling on behalf of Martin. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. What are you, his representative?
Yeah.
She's like, he's in jail. I'm like, whoa, what do you mean he's in jail? Right? And I'm like, she's like, something happened and he's not going to make it to the game. He feels really bad about it. I'm like, really bad?
But-
I'm like, we got a game. Like, who's going to coach? So right away, I'm like, okay, this is not a good look. I got a company that sponsors the
Yeah.
team. We had to put a Band-Aid on it. So here start the adventures of owning a semi-pro team.
Yeah.
So at that point, he gets out of prison. I'm like, man, you got to get your shit together. And he's like, I'm sorry, this happened, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we have to part ways with him. So we're like, all right, guys, our coach lasted 4 games. We need another coach. So we ask, I think it was Cameron, right? He stepped in.
Did we ask him? Yeah, he has stepped in a couple times.
Yeah,
during
so
the whole journey.
Cameron was an ex-semi-pro player, played in college. Is he from Canada?
Yeah.
He's a Canadian. He owns a company called Technogrip. The last promo I'm going to do for Technogrip, I've been promoting them for years. They make socks. You can buy them at technogrip.com. Anyway, so Cam comes and he helps us. And he's like, hey, I'll help you coach. And, Cam's got a very chill style. He's not a screamer.
Yeah.
He's almost like too chill, But he does the job and he gets us through our first season, right? So we get through our first season, right? I'm like, all right, E, we need a coach, man. We need to get a real coach. And because I'm crazy, I'm like,
Actually, that first season we did pretty decent. I think.
we came like mid-table.
Yeah, we were a little up mid-table. I don't know if we made the playoffs or barely missed out on the playoffs. Like, I think
We did well.
we did pretty well. Like, I mean, yeah,
it was a respectable
first season, right? With a solid core of players. Most European guys, a couple
We had
Um,
Americans.
yeah,
We
we
had we had guys from Africa on the team. We had guys from Europe. We had a bunch of guys from Colombia, Argentina, all countries. I
yeah
mean, we
we
were like
yeah we had
what
a very
we
mixed team.
represented Dade County. I mean, pretty much.
Exactly.
It was nice. It
We
was
had a
nice.
very mixed team, and we trained pretty consistently, right? I mean,
Twice a week.
season is like a 4 month type of thing, with a month of preseason, and like it's about 5 months, right? Like
Yeah.
what's like the fall season on.
Diego. He was very involved. He was
Yeah,
one
yeah,
of the guys that was
yeah. We
very
had a couple
involved.
guys that were very involved, right?
We created a board.
A board,
Right. So
yeah,
we create a board of players, right? So these players, right, they're going to help us. They're the ones that are the most committed to the club. So these players, they help us make all the decisions on like, okay, what do you think of this? Should we bring on this coach? What do you think of this? What kind of style should we play? In the end, I don't know if it was a good idea or not, but it was just the way we were. We
yeah,
wanted it to be a very open
yeah.
club, open to everybody, right? So we go into the second season, and I'm like, all right, man, it's time to step up our level. Okay. We popped our cherry in the first season. Now I'm gonna go try to get a real coach. So I hear through the grapevine that there's this guy, Chris Bart-Williams,
Yeah.
okay, who was a famous player in the Premier League. Okay. He's like a 6'3" towering figure. He was a striker. I think he was a striker, right? Is that what he played?
I think he was actually a center mid.
Center mid. Okay, maybe it was a
I
center mid.
think so. Yeah.
But he played for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
He played for what was the other team he played for?
Sheffield
For Sheffield
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Played in the Premier League, had a great career, well known all over the UK. And now he's here in Miami. Like he was coaching women's soccer and doing some private academy training. So
He
I
was a
just
Gulliver too.
he
He
was
was
at
head coach
Gulliver.
of Gulliver.
So I said, let me reach out and call this guy. So I was like, he's probably going to say no. So I leave him a voicemail. I'm like, listen, my name's Joe. I co-own a team called Dade County FC. We're a men's semi-pro team. We're very organized. I obviously know about your career, Chris. If you are ever interested in coaching a men's team, please give me a call. I'll never forget. I'm coming back on a school trip with my kids, and I get a voicemail, and it's Chris, and he's like, "Hey, Joe," with his thick British accent, he's like, "I like your project. It sounds interesting. We should talk more." So I'm like, "Holy shit!" So I call him back. I'm like, "Chris, can we meet?" So I meet with him. Right? I think maybe we
I don't
both
know.
met with him.
I think I didn't think I was there with the first meeting, but this was after our first year, right? We just tried something out. It was going. We had built something tangible, right? We had a roster,
We had a team.
and then I think
We
we
were
said,
we were an
yeah,
exciting team. We were
yeah, and
exciting new men's team.
we did better than we thought.
Right.
We played decent with some
Right.
good players, and we
Right.
thought like, look, either we need to step up
Our
more
level.
a level,
Right.
right, and do it more seriously. It's like, I mean, I think we probably invested a little bit of money in the
Yep.
first year, see how it goes, but then we were like, look, we
Let's
need
step it up.
there's something here, right? We
Right.
need to
We
step
have
that.
something. We
We
have
have
something.
something. We need to step it up. So
Right.
like, I remember you saying that name, and I was like, I mean, I didn't really knew him at first, but I was like, oh, an English,
Solid.
solid, disciplined
Right.
coach,
Right.
right? Sounds good to me, right?
Right.
And then I mean, I think back then, I mean, we didn't really, he was a character, right? I mean, I don't remember the first meeting. I don't know if I was there or not, or
I
you.
can't remember, but long story short, we end up, Chris is like, "You're gonna have to speak to my agent." Like, wait a minute. You have an agent? He has an agent. His agent was like in New Orleans or something. So I'm speaking to his agent, and like I made a like we can't even
What was
afford
his
this
what was
guy.
his name again?
The agent?
Yeah,
I don't know.
you remember his name?
He was like a
I don't.
Drew Rosenhaus
Yeah,
like
no, he
look.
had like a name that you think is an agent, right?
Yeah,
Like he
it was
sounded
like
like
Buck
yeah,
Starwall or
yeah,
something. Yeah, he had some weird
like
name.
like a made up person.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was
It was
almost
like
like a
Rock
made up person.
Stillwell or
Yeah.
something. He's like, call my agent. I'm like, so I call his agent, and he's like negotiating me. I'm like, listen, man, we're not Manchester
Yeah,
United. We have some shitty, small little semi-pro men's team, right?
yeah.
I just need him to come coach for us. If he can do it, great. And if he can't, fine. And Chris says, okay, man, we've got a deal. So I'm like, holy shit, we just
Well,
signed.
first he said, you need to make a U23.
Oh,
Right,
yes,
right.
yes,
That's what he
huge,
said. Like,
huge.
I'm
Yes,
doing it, but you need to do this, this, and this, and
yes.
I'm taking
So
whatever cut or whatever fee, whatever.
correct.
And
He's right. So he says to us, I'm not happy with just a first team. I want a second team. So I want you to make a U23 team. And I'm like, okay. So now we have two teams, right?
yeah,
So Chris, because of his name, attracts all these younger,
yeah.
hungry players, college players, people that just want to play for Chris. So we do a tryout. Chris shows up. He's in a fucking suit. He's in a full suit. And I'm like, this is the real, like, he's treating this like a pro team. So he shows up. There's like 75, 80 guys trying out for this team. You got guys that weigh like 300 pounds. I'm like, why is this guy trying
No,
out?
no. So we organized the whole tryout,
Well,
right? We
tryout,
said to
right.
Chris, okay, look,
We
if
charge for the
no, no,
tryout.
look, we said to him, look, if you want to have a second team, we need to do a big tryout because right now we only have
Yes.
25 guys,
Right.
and 18 are reliable.
Correct.
So like to make one roster, like I was always the one that was a little bit like
You were the
glass.
you were the
I was
Dutch
like
guy.
glass half empty guy, learned the
Debbie Downer.
learned the hard way here,
Right,
and like you are a little bit more like
I'm more like, fuck
big,
it, let's go.
yeah, big vision guy, and Chris, I don't know what Chris was, but Chris was, he basically wanted, he
Chris
had his
was
own
extreme.
whole own vision of like
Yeah.
how to do it. So like we did this tryout, right? And we promoted it a lot. I remember that.
We
We
did.
did the big tryout because we needed to build a whole second team.
Yeah.
And we also needed to pay Chris, right?
Right.
Like we needed to find ways to pay Chris.
So
like,
we start charging
yeah,
for the tryouts. I'm like, how am I going to pay this guy? Like, I can only make so much.
and then I remember it was, so we show up there, right? And like we're always nervous that people showing up or not, like, and like people showed up, like people came, in the end we had like
People came out of the woodwork.
40, 50 players, right?
Yes.
And then Chris starts the tryout. And after 45 minutes, so we started. So said, I said to Joe, we need to start charging for the tryout, right?
Right.
Like we can't do things for free anymore.
Right,
We
right.
did a lot of stuff for free
We were just
because
giving shit away.
we gave it away. Jersey here, you got a jersey, just to get players, right? And and it's our passion, right? We love it. And then
Right.
I said to Joe, like, we got to start charging for
Yeah,
this stuff.
we
Like,
did,
we
we
have to rent the field. Chris wants a bunch of money, right? Like, and like we just everybody. I remember promoting it like big tryout, tropical park, 2 hours. 10 to 12. Like you get this water, snacks,
Right.
like big game.
It was a huge event.
A huge event, like setting up tents, everything. And Chris shows up, and after like the 35 minutes, he said, "I've seen enough," and he blows his whistle, and he says, "Guys, I'm done. I've seen enough."
And I look at you and I'm like, what?
And yeah, and I remember looking at you and said, "Joe, we charged like $50 for this tryout. Like we can't send people away after 35 minutes."
We felt guilty.
We felt guilty. Like
Yeah.
I remember, like I said to Chris,
We let him play a game. We just let him
I
play a
said to
game.
Chris, like, you can't do this, right? I don't know. I don't care what you do. Like, you could just let him play. But like,
His mind is still
he
in
was
Europe.
like, look, I've seen enough. Why
Right.
would I do more?
Right,
Like,
right.
I've seen enough. I've seen my players, and that's it. And he was, look, in the end,
He wasn't wrong.
no, he was probably right because at
Right.
these tryouts, you could see after 10 minutes.
Right.
who
You
can-
knew who
yeah,
could play
yeah,
and who
you-
couldn't play.
Like, everybody shows up to those tryouts.
right, right.
Everybody.
Everybody and their mother showed up.
Yeah.
Literally.
So that was the start, I think, with Chris, where like, we were trying to manage a club and manage a brand and like
And
manage
him.
yeah,
Because managing Chris was a job in itself.
exactly. And
right?
and he was like, he was in the he just wanted to perform and like do his thing. He wanted to do his things his way.
But I will
And-
tell you, his training sessions, you couldn't,
No,
they were amazing.
no, he was still in England. Like he was
in
still,
his mind,
he was still in England.
he was training Nottingham.
Yeah.
But he was training Nottingham with guys that had left feet or guys that were just, we had some good players,
Yeah.
but guys had to go to work.
Yeah. Like,
They're like, dude, I got a job, and I'll never forget in the games, when a guy wasn't playing, he would call like a grown ass man.
Cameron.
Remember he did to Cameron? Oh my
Yeah,
god, I
yeah.
felt so bad. He yelled at him like he was like his child. And I sat there and I'm like, "You can't do that." And he's like, "I don't give a fuck." You know? Like I'm
That
like, "Dude, this is not the Premier League. This is a fucking semi-pro team. These guys don't get paid."
I didn't realize it could get too professional.
It
You
got
know,
too
like
pro.
it got too pro for us, and
Like
that says a lot.
I
Yeah,
and I we were like just working to keep him happy.
yeah,
We're just like, "Chris, what else can we do? What else can we do to keep you happy?" So after I'd say, a year and a half, right? About a year, right? You could just tell it was getting exhausting on him,
yeah,
right? We were still paying him, but at some point, our team actually, like, I think mentally, it made our team tough. But performance wise, we were like terrible. We lost like almost
You
every
remember,
game.
like our U20, he did, so he did both our teams, right? He did
Yes.
the first team and the
Yes.
U23s. The
Yeah.
U23s did great.
Mhm.
They loved him. You know, they did everything he said,
He was great for the
and
youth, but for the
yeah.
grown men,
So
like, how are you going to tell a 35-year-old man, like, I
yeah,
I don't even know what he would say. Like he would just insult a
yeah,
grown ass man. He would just insult him on the field, and the guy's like, "Fuck this, man. I
yeah.
got kids. I don't need this shit."
I'm
You know,
paying for this. I'm paying to
I'm
get yelled
paying
at.
to be here for you to yell at me. I'm a grown ass man.
Yeah,
And I was just like, man, this dynamic is not working. So the first team, our first team, they kind of grew to like despise Chris,
yeah,
and like we almost had like no. And I love and like I still to this day, like I love Chris,
yeah,
but you could tell there was just like this friction, because they didn't want to listen to what the coach said. They wanted to
yeah,
play their own way. They're like, I didn't sign up for this
yeah,
shit, you know? And I'm like, you should be honored that you have a guy like this coaching you. What do you guys? You want some guy from the street coaching you, or you want a former
yeah,
legendary Premier League player to coach you? So, look, that adventure did great, and God rest his soul. Chris passed away tragically. He had I guess he went out the way he came in. He was a force. He had a massive heart attack. He passed away. I'll never forget when I found out.
yeah,
I called you, and I think he was just such a force. This guy, it's what a loss, and I'm still shocked to this day that he died.
yeah,
But it kind of puts things in perspective, when you're just like, man, life is so fragile. You know, the guy we were fortunate enough to have that guy in our life,
yeah,
come in and help make Dade County what it was. And then after Chris had passed on, you know, I think our team continued to evolve. And then we got Danny from Chile,
yeah. I
right?
mean, I don't know if that was when exactly in the timeline that happened, but yeah, I mean, obviously he was a big part of Dade County, and I remember still, like, I talk to players to this day, and like that, all they have such good things to say about him and how he coached,
Yeah.
but it just didn't. Our We were not ready for Chris. I think our club was not.
We were not
We
mature
were
enough
not mature enough for that.
for a guy like that to come into our program.
Exactly.
I think if our team would have been more established,
Yeah.
I think we could have handled it a little bit better.
Yeah.
But we were just so new, and I think we went guns blazing,
Yeah.
and look, it was a great experience, and may you rest in peace. Um, and
And I think you're
you
always trying to. I think we were very focused on trying to keep our players happy
yeah,
and to keep our players, and especially when you start out, like you're trying to keep everybody happy
yeah.
and keep your core group
For
of
at least
players
for me,
happy.
that was like a big thing. It's like, how do we keep our
And actually,
players
and
happy?
I remember I always told you, like, I was always worried about keeping the core of players together because that's
Right,
how we were able to
right.
perform.
Yeah, you
And
needed that nucleus of guys
exactly,
that
and
kept the team together.
but also on the other hand, that's also sometimes maybe kept us back a little bit because we made decisions
Right.
as long as we keep
Right. We had to keep our
the
main
core
players happy.
players
Yeah.
happy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
in the end, like, I don't know, like, in hindsight, what would have been the better approach, but it's just in here, especially in this town, it's players come and go so quickly that it's
Unbelievable.
it's very hard to keep a core together like
And
that. And
that's for me, that's what's frustrating because because I'm older, I grew up in a time where, you know, when you start something, you finish it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You see it through. You don't half-ass
Yeah.
something. If you're gonna like, if you take anything away from this podcast is, you know, give 2000% to whatever you do in life. Don't do anything half-assed. If you're going to do something half-assed, just don't even show up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you're going to do something, go all in so you can look back and be like, hey, you know what? I gave everything I had to that freaking
Yeah.
project that I was part of. So anyway, so we get Danny, Chilean guy.
Yeah.
He brings a different flair, and our team actually thrives
Yeah.
under
Yeah.
Danny.
Yeah.
And I think the Chris Bart-Williams effect had a lot to do with the success that we had the
Yeah.
following season for Dade County. And that's where who had the brilliant idea of starting a women's team? Was that your idea? Or
I
or
don't know.
my or maybe both of our
Probably
ideas?
both of our
Yeah.
ideas. I
So
mean,
we had thought about this thing with I think it was Manu. I think it was Manu was the one that was kind of like constantly like throwing that idea at us, and we were finally like, fuck it, let's do a women's team. So we started a women's team, right? And I remember the first a women's semi-pro team, and I was just like, how's this gonna work? Like, where are we gonna get the players? And Manu's like, I'll take care of it. I'll
yeah.
take care
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
And I remember the first tryout we did, we had like 3 girls or 4 girls.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, dude, this is not gonna work, right? But he's like, trust me, stick with me. I promise I will get the players. And I guess he had his connections. And before we knew it, we had a men's team. Did we still have the two teams? We had the
No, we had two.
U23,
Yeah, at some point we had
and
two
now we
teams,
had a
and
women's team.
yeah.
And now we had 3 teams. Okay. So this thing keeps going and growing and growing. And now we're like, we outgrew Tropical Park. So now I'm like, okay, we need a real home.
Yeah.
So that's where we find Traspal Stadium. And for those of you that don't know, Traspal Stadium is in next to Miami-Dade College North Campus. It's actually a historic football stadium, high school football stadium. It seats 10,000 people. It's probably one of the largest um, school stadiums in Miami-Dade County. And 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 we saw I do what I do, and I was able to finagle my way into getting an agreement for us to start training there and having our games there. And we go from being this team that
Yeah.
has we're playing on a dirt field, at one point outside of Tropical, to now we're all of a sudden playing at Traspal Stadium. We have 3 teams. We have women's teams, we have men's teams, we have a U23 team. I mean, we got a real program here.
Yeah.
And this is starting to become a 24/7 job. Like,
Yeah.
do you agree?
I agree. And also, like, we kept pouring money in
And we keep
at the
throwing money.
beginning,
And
you
now
know.
I'm like, okay, I got to start calling friends. So I start calling friends like Steve Zima,
Yeah.
other friends. You start
Trying
calling
to get
people. We're
sponsors,
trying
right?
to
Like,
raise money for this club because it's like, we're just throwing our own money into this thing. And it's like, and the players, they pay a little bit of money to help feed it. But like, people are not here to pay.
yeah.
Like, there's your adults. They're not coming here to pay,
Yeah.
right? Some of them actually wanted to get paid. And in some instances, if I needed a really good player, I had to pay the player,
Yeah.
right? But and whatever, I pay them under the table, but I was paying these players. But in the end of the day, we're running a business, and it's like I got to keep the lights on. And people start looking at me, and they're just like, "Oh, why are you charging us? Like, how else am I gonna? I got to charge something. Like, I don't have $1 million to dump into this
Yeah.
thing. Like, I'm literally, do I pay my mortgage or do I run Dade County FC? And it starts to become that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So we end up at Traspal Stadium, and now we're in our, I don't know, we've already done 3 seasons in the UPSL.
Yeah.
And I think after 3 seasons, we're just like, we're not satisfied with the UPSL, right? I don't think it was, what it was just lacking in some areas, right? It wasn't as organized as we wanted. The refs weren't there. The games weren't streamed. I mean, shit, we would go to the game, we'd go to their home field, and there was not even a
Yeah.
bathroom.
Yeah. I think we were paying a lot of things and we got very little in return. We got, even the scheduling and things like that. Like, it cost so much time and effort. I was like, we might as well try to do it ourselves. Otherwise, like,
What's the point?
what's the point, right? And we also at a point where, like, if we have the stadium, like, how do we use it, right? Like, how do we it was an amazing place for us.
So we have this 10,000 person stadium. We've got a skybox. We've got home and away lockers. I mean, we're as close to pro as you can get at this point. We've got women training. We've got men training.
Yeah.
And then we decide to go in a different direction with our coaches, right? We bring
Yeah, that
in,
was when we were in Trespau. Yeah, we brought in
yeah.
the Ukrainians.
So we bring in the Ukrainians. Now, obviously there's a big war going on between Russia and Ukraine, and a lot of people are escaping. And I know Ukrainians very well because I played for a Ukrainian team in New Jersey when I was growing up. I played with all Ukrainians, so they're good players. They're very organized. They're good. So how did we meet these guys? Did they
I,
come to the tryout? I think they came to the tryout actually.
I think, yeah. But didn't one of us play? One of us started playing with us.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, Artem. It was Artem.
Yeah,
It was
and
Artem.
then yeah, and then he brought in the other two. Now
Yeah.
Anton also played with us
Yes.
in the beginning.
Yeah.
And they were tough. They were tough guys.
So, so just to put this in perspective, guys, just so you understand. So, like at this point, we're like probably, I would say, the one of the hottest teams in
we're like in the top
UPSL.
5 of
Top five.
the
Everybody
yeah.
knew who Dade County was. Like we had made a name for ourselves. We had a social media following. We even got an influencer on our women's team to come join our team because nobody knew our women's team. But then this girl joins, and she's got like millions of followers. Like she's a great girl. Wasn't a great player, but she's a great girl. She shows up on our team. She can juggle the ball really well, but anyway, she shows up on our team, and all of a sudden, she's taking pictures with Neymar. She's got all these celebrities. So, like, we got like a thing going on now. Now we have like a brand. Dade County's starting to become a brand, right? We're playing at Traz Powell. We've got, you know, we've got a stadium. We've got a name. We've got sponsors. We're doing parties. We're inviting players. We got a whole thing going on here, right? And we're like, where are we going with this club? Like, what are we doing with this club? So we bring in the Ukrainians, and the Ukrainians come in, and I'll never forget, you know, Artem and Igor, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Igor joins the team. Artem, I'm like Artem. Artem was an ex-pro player in Ukraine, had a pro career in Kazakhstan, 6'4", big, strong Ukrainian guy. And we asked him to coach our men's team. He had never coached before. And he's like, okay, I'll coach for you guys. And then he introduces us to Igor. And Igor was like a athletic trainer, or what was he was like a fitness coach, right? He was a fitness coach for like a Champions League team in like one of those countries over there in Eastern Europe, and he escaped during the war, and he came over here. So Igor's like, listen, you might have some people call you about, because I made a little announcement that I'm with Dade County. I'm like, okay, Igor, I don't know what that means. Just we're paying you, go coach,
Like,
and
any
coach the team.
publicity is good publicity.
And, I'm thinking it's good publicity. I start getting blasted on LinkedIn. I have these Ukrainian journalists. Why did you hire the traitor? I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? She said, you hired Igor. He's a traitor. He's from Ukraine. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, he's just our coach. He's like, no. What are your thoughts on hiring one of the biggest traitors from Ukraine who left the war? And I'm just like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, he's just. So I call Igor. I'm like, Igor, what is going on? He's like, oh, just ignore them. Don't worry about them. They just don't worry about the journalists. And I'm like, Igor, I don't need that drama, man. We don't need that shit. Like keep that away from us. We're just a small club. Let us do our thing. So tell the journalists. So the journalist kept calling me, and then at some point I was just like, listen, we love Ukrainians. We love all Europeans. Please, we're an open society. It's a free country. You can come play for us if you want. So we bring these guys on, and obviously we have the best season we ever had. We left the UPSL.
Yeah.
We went to the USSL, and we win the whole league.
Yeah, we won everything. Yeah.
We won everything. Now the level wasn't as good, right? You'll admit. But our team was amazing, right?
Yeah.
We probably had the best team we ever had that final season.
Yeah,
right?
we probably did. I mean, and also we had things like they fell into place a little bit, like with the schedule and the facilities, and like we figured most of the things out, right? We had some experience with like how to run the team and the coaches, but still, like having more than 100 players, the amount of work.
At that
So
point, how many players did we have?
yeah, I
Like
think at our peak we probably had around 100,
100 players, right?
like about around 30 per team,
Yeah.
a
So
little over 30 a
if you
team.
have 100 players, you have to deal with so many characters, so many
Yeah.
personalities, you know. And look, I love women, but the women's team was a whole other adventure, right?
I mean, it was new for us, right?
It was new.
Like
I
we
did not understand how challenging it would be to run a women's team.
I mean,
And, and
like
I tried to have the mentality of run it like a men's team. And I don't think you can run a women's team like a men's team. I don't think you can. I think there's just too many different personalities in a women's team.
I think um the way our season started off with not having a league. You remember we
It
didn't have
hurt us.
any season.
It hurt us. I
So
agree.
we got a lot of different things we did for the first time, and I think we it was just very hard to offer the team what they expected from us, right?
Yeah.
So and
And,
as soon
and we had women that were like national team
exactly,
players, high level
yeah,
players,
very
and
good
we're
players.
sitting there and I'm just like, how do I make them happy?
Exactly.
What can I
Like
give
you
them?
can't keep organizing friendly games. Like,
Right.
and I kind of understand. Like, if you come and you think you're coming to one of the best semi-pro
Right.
teams,
Right.
right? And that's how people
And
looked
probably
at.
the big thing that they hated, and they blame me for it, and you want to blame me all you want, but we charge them.
Yeah, we
We
charged it. Yeah,
charged
yeah,
like, but we didn't charge a lot, but we had to
yeah,
charge something,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
because
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think they understood the business side of trying to
yeah,
run
yeah.
this, you
So I
know.
think, yeah,
And like we still like had so many expenses, but like we had to charge something
yeah,
to see if there was some
they were
level of
willing
commitment.
to that.
And then you
Yeah.
had players showing up and like, oh, you know, I played for the Uruguayan national team. Can you give me a scholarship? And I'm like, no, I can't
Yeah,
give you a
I
scholarship.
I still believe like we gave them a lot of things and a lot of things for what we charge. But in the end, like that was our business model. Like it was not. At some point, we were like, we can't just keep making it
Correct.
a free fall and just give everything away. And like we also need to go to like some type of model that works, right? And so maybe you and I can take a step back and let it run, right?
100%, which was what the hope was, right?
What
The
the hope
hope
was,
was
yeah, yeah,
that we would build this thing to a point where we had it was so organized and so well run that we could bring in like a director of operations
yeah,
and I
yeah,
could just show up to the game and enjoy the game.
exactly.
Instead, I'm freaking cooking hamburgers
Yeah,
and hot dogs, right?
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
worried
yeah.
about, and then we decide to start Player Lab Sports Network, which is our streaming
And we started
station.
charging at the gate,
And we started
remember that?
charging at the gate because I'm like, look, if I have a fucking stadium, you're gonna pay to come in, right? And then we started charging everybody to come into the stadium, and people were like, "Oh, how could you charge? How could I not charge? What do you
Yeah,
think? I'm not Donald
yeah,
Trump. I'm
yeah.
not rich. I gotta charge something." So we charged like $5 to come in, and like people got upset about that, and
Yeah,
I'm just like,
yeah,
"All right, well, we're never gonna make anybody happy." And my argument was like, "Look, you can go to Inter Miami, and you can go spend $100 to go in,
yeah,
or you could pay $5 and you
yeah,
can come
yeah,
to the game. You can have gummies and you can have hot dogs and hamburgers and you can have a drink and a soda. You can have a nice Sunday football match and you can enjoy it. We had music. We would play it during the halftime. We'd play it during the game. We tried to make it like a Sunday
yeah, yeah, yeah.
environment, right? We really did, and honestly, I loved it. I loved
Yeah, we had some double games back to
we would have
back,
back-to-back
and
games, and people would love it. There was nothing better than for these players to show up and to score and play in a
yeah,
stadium. And I think the most people we ever had was when the women's team played the Venezuelan
yeah, yeah, yeah,
youth national team. I
yeah,
think we had like, I don't know, 500 people at
yeah,
that
yeah,
game or
yeah.
something. And that was a great
And that's
day.
how we started thinking about our own league. You
Yeah.
remember that? Like
Yeah.
in the end, like we thought like we have the stadium, right?
We have
Everybody wants to
everything.
play at us. We have the
Right.
lockers. We have the
Right.
we have the streaming, right? At the end, that worked pretty well. Like we have our own teams. Like, but the league, honestly, the leagues they were so unorganized. Like you show up, refs didn't show up, or teams showed up incomplete, or they showed up with like a U14, right? Or whatever the case was. Like I think we missed the true like competition, and like we missed team. We wanted 10 other Dade counties, right?
Yeah.
in the area, and then we can all play against each other. And I think that,
And you did not have that,
and we just,
especially in our
yeah, we
leagues.
didn't have that. So I think we invested a lot of things, and I think we just, there was not enough there to give us back,
Yeah.
right? In from what they invested in it.
So
No,
so like, the season ends for the men's, we win the championship, We have this Player Lab Sports Network. We're streaming the games, right? We had a Argentinian comedian, remember that guy? He was our broadcaster. We invested all this money in equipment.
yeah,
And then our women's team, right? Which I had so many hopes in. And, Coach Felix, great guy. I love Felix. I've known him for years. But, in the end of the day, he, he wasn't getting it done. Let's just call it what it is. And we invested in this
I mean,
WPSL league.
I
We
mean, look,
spent a lot of money
we
in
have
this
been
league.
through a lot of coaches in
Yeah.
our Dade County time.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes it was us, sometimes it was them, but in the
Yeah.
end of the day, like, the personalities, if you're trying to hire a semi-pro soccer coach, like,
It's
it
not
is
easy.
not a full-time job,
It's not.
so it is not a 100% commitment. And
Well, I'm sorry. Like if
no,
I
no,
if I go to a training session and I see you doing this during the
I
game,
know,
during
look,
training, it drives me fucking
no,
nuts.
look.
It's like, dude, you're supposed to be coaching. Why are you on your
I
phone?
think we expected somebody, our coaches, to be there
High
and
level.
balls pumped, materials organized,
Yes.
thing. For
Yes.
that time you're there, you're doing everything by the book and 100%. And you remember we had this other assistant coach that we for a moment
Oh my
entertained.
God.
I remember having a conversation, and the all talk, all talk, like, I want this, I want this, I want this, and then we were like, what? Like, do we see something different here on the on the
When you
and
go through as many coaches as we did, you kind
yeah,
of start to see a pattern. But the refreshing thing was I loved these Ukrainians
yeah, I know,
because
because they were
and
disciplined.
look, we parted ways with Felix. And a lot of the women were pissed. A lot of the women, they left the team after we got rid of Felix. And I understand, like I get it. Like I know I felt bad about it personally, like I
Yeah,
did. But I was just like, fuck man, I want
and
to win some
also
games.
we spent all this money to go into a league, and I think 80% of our games got rained out
Right.
in the summer.
Right. I was
So
like,
we're like,
like you talked
I
up
mean,
this women's pro
yeah,
premier soccer league like it's this biggest thing, and then like all the games are rained out, and I'm just like,
hired a bus to go all the way to
right. We
Jacksonville.
literally got a bus to drive to Jacksonville for the game. I'm treating this like a pro team, right? That's what I'm doing. So we bring in Igor, and Igor has the Igor mentality. I will break you. Like he comes in and these women come in, and the first game they win 5-0. They destroy the other team. And I'm like, yes, this is what I was looking for. And then the last game of the season, I'll never forget, nobody showed
No,
up.
no, we showed up. Yeah,
They didn't come to the game. Like, we had the bus, everything was ready, and they didn't show up. And I'm like, I couldn't fathom what was on. And I think it was just a culmination of just like everything coming
yeah,
together.
yeah, yeah.
And maybe they were like just fed up with me because I think a lot of them like they personally like didn't like me as the owner. And I'm just like, I don't know what I did. Like I literally just tried to like make everybody happy, but you know what? You can't make everybody happy,
Yeah.
and that's okay. You can't make everybody happy. But I literally I put we all did. We put so much blood and sweat into this thing, and you look back and you're just like, all right, where did we go wrong? What could we have done
Yeah.
differently? And now you're like, okay,
So what do you think? Like,
yeah,
I think, like, looking back, like, I think we did a lot of things well, but I think what we did do too much is we swerved a little bit too much, right?
we
Like,
did, yeah.
we tried to try this because some people told us do this, right? And then we went the other way, right? We went maybe a little,
We weren't patient.
yeah, maybe
We weren't
if we
patient.
stuck with our one approach
Yeah.
and
And
just,
I put that on me. Like, I'm not a patient guy. Like if I don't see results, I want to make a
yeah,
change, you
but
know?
both. I think we also try to, when you start, you're afraid that people are not jumping on board. So we try to, like,
You try to
you try
adjust to
to
make them
adjust
happy.
and like things, but
Right.
like, because we tried a lot of different, we had different types, completely different types of coaches, right? We had completely different ways how we charge, and how we tried, like, how many things did we
Yeah,
try, right?
yeah.
Like instead of just having, okay, this is it, either we're with 5 or with 20, you know in the end, that's it. And I mean, it's interesting to think about, right? Like, what
Well,
what works and what doesn't.
so now, like, the question, and I get people asking me all the time, are you bringing Dade County back?
Mm,
You know, and could I bring it back? 100%. Like, I could dump money in right now, get the best fucking coaches, go right back to
yeah.
trad. I could do the whole thing. And will we get the players? I'm sure we'll get the players because there's plenty of players in Miami. Could we even do a women's team if we want? I don't know if I'd want to do a women's team again, because that's,
I mean, right now there's the infrastructure is not there. There are
yeah,
not enough.
yeah. Like, look,
Uh,
so Monty went and he started a team called Miami Grove FC, right? And he has a women's team and they're playing in the UPSL. How many teams are in that league?
yeah, there are like
There's
three.
four teams.
Yeah, there are 3 or 4
It's the
teams out
same
there.
shit.
So yeah, so that until that changes, and that's just a reality. It
Which is
is.
why we tried to start a league because we were
Yeah,
like, let's build our own league, and
yeah,
if you build it, they will come.
yeah,
It's kind of like what we did with Dade
yeah,
County. If you build it, they will come, right? That's how I am in business.
yeah,
If you build it, people will come,
yeah.
right? You build something great, people want to be a part of something great. They want to look back and be like, I was a part of that. So the question becomes, do we what do we do? Do we let this thing die out? Do we bring it back? Do we raise it from? It's not from the dead. It's still there,
No,
right?
it's there.
We have
Look.
plenty of we have plenty of followers. Maybe we'll lose them after this podcast. I don't know,
Or we gain a bunch.
or
Who
we'll
knows?
gain a bunch. But I had a player text me the other day. He's like, "Please bring Dade County back." He fucking begged me to bring Dade County
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
My sons were just like, "Dad, please bring Dade
I
County
know they
back."
had amazing times too. I remember.
Like,
Like,
people, because, yeah, a lot of people are passionate,
yeah,
but not a lot of people follow through with what they
yeah.
say they're going to do. We had great parties. How great were our
Oh my
parties?
man, we had.
Our parties were fucking awesome,
Yeah,
right? Every year we had an amazing party,
yeah. We
right?
did many great things. I mean, we raised a bunch of money for this.
Oh,
The
the Uganda,
Uganda Foundation. We
right?
did a big party in Miami Beach,
In Mickey
right?
Burke's,
In
right?
Mickey
Then we
Burke's.
did one at Levant in Coral
Yeah,
Gables,
yeah, yeah,
where everybody got shit faced
yeah.
drunk.
No, we
Remember?
we, I, we had some amazing events. I mean, and also it was a great community, right? I
It
mean,
was,
for me too, coming new to Miami,
yeah.
like because of Dade County, right? I got a head start in meeting all these people, different communities. Like, I don't know. I mean, we didn't end things very well with the UPSL. I don't know if we get back into the
Is
UPSL.
Christian still part of it? Is he still
I
running?
don't know. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I think if we would do it, I would we would need to control. I don't know if I would just join a random league. I think we would need to have a longer term
Well, we
vision.
saw USSL what it was, right?
Yeah, I think we would, if we would do it, we would need to talk with some serious people and players, right? That want to make like a 5 or 10 year commitment,
Well, what if
right?
what if
Like,
that existed? What if there was, let me just propose this out there right now. What if there was some investors that wanted to come in, they saw what we did, and they're like, Joe, I want to dump some money into this thing and I want to give this a real run. Right? I mean, we got the World Cup coming up next year. It's
yeah,
2026. FIFA World Cup's coming. Games are in Miami. Inter's building a stadium, right? Like, you know, how many pro teams are here in Miami? You have Inter Miami, and then you've got Miami FC,
yeah,
right? And that's pretty much it. And now they're talking about investing in other teams, here,
yeah.
but nobody's really done it.
No, I still very much believe that in the South Florida area, right, Miami, Miami-Dade area,
There's room for one more.
no, there's room for a very well run semi-pro team, because I think probably Miami United is one,
Yeah.
right? The rest is not really.
I mean, Miami United wanted our stadium.
No,
They
no, I
they
know, but
literally
that's what I'm saying. Like, I
tried
think
to rent our
so.
stadium.
There's room for a well organized semi-pro team, but I think what there's room for is a proper, well organized, ran semi pro league. And maybe it's only 8 teams, right? take the best 8 teams out of Miami-Dade or South Florida area. Could be even up to, um, up north
Yeah.
or go south, Homestead, whatever. Make a proper run league at one location, right? Let's say Trespaw. Have a consistent schedule where you play multiple games on a day, on a weekend. Make it an event, right? Like go watch 3, 4 high level games, right? With the best semi-pro teams of South Florida. Broadcast it, right? Super well organized, right? Concessions, everything, locker
Are you
rooms.
hearing all this? Are you getting all
No,
this?
no, but
Fergus?
that is a model I still think is very
Doable.
doable. One, I think, because like what the other offerings are just not good, right?
Right. They're really
It's
not.
and then the team, it's easy. We already have the team. We could do a tryout
Tomorrow.
tomorrow, and we would have players.
Correct.
For me, it's more about like who do you play against, right? Like what is the like things like what makes Holland such a great country for football is you go to the other town and there's a great club and you have great games every weekend, right?
So
You need to like make a model where you have the infrastructure in the stadium where every Sunday from 1 to 6 you have 3 amazing games,
matches.
right? Matches.
Yeah.
8
Which is what we were
best
gonna do.
8 teams of Miami. You do a prize pot, right? You
We're
make
just
it
giving away our secrets.
yeah, but you make it interesting, right?
Right.
You create some hype, right? No random field in Broward where nobody watches, right? You make it interesting for teams to want to play there.
But you think you could do that in Miami-Dade, in this city that's so crazy? You think people will come?
I think people will come, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, KSP basically does it, right?
Right.
But
Kennel soccer
but
program.
on a Sunday league level.
Right. Right.
But make it proper, make it like semi-pro, like real semi-pro. That I think that's
So
what we thought about doing. And I think at that time we were burned out, right? Like
yeah.
we just spent almost 4 years like
Yeah.
dealing with it.
Literally.
And it
You
was
just
like
had a child.
exactly,
You
and
know.
like we needed a break, like
Right.
mentally,
Right.
we were
Yeah.
like we stopped at the right time, right?
Right.
But I still believe that if you put that concept and you find like a group of people and like have like a 5-year plan, and maybe the first year, right, you have to pay teams some money to join, or you only have 5 teams, but you make it interesting. I think in 2 or 3 years you have 80% of the best teams, because why else would you play in the UPSL? Well, there's nothing they offer except uh the competition, right?
You know they're probably going to watch this.
No, but I mean this is for any
Any club, any
club.
league,
I mean,
any
this is
league.
just the football landscape.
Right.
There's nothing
Right.
for any other league, but I think every other league, USSL probably thinks the same way,
Yeah.
right? Uh, they have their own league, right? They trying to offer things that to teams that other teams don't have. I think
So
it's
in closing, because obviously now by the way, congratulations on your second child.
thank you.
So you're well into it now.
Yeah,
I can tell you, having children, it's get ready. Well, you're already in it. So is Dade County coming back?
Is Dade County coming back?
You're on the spot.
I'm on the spot. Well, I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna say no. Let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, only okay. Let me say this: only if we do it um, in a proper way. Like
All right.
that's where I leave it at.
All right. Everybody, you heard it here. I want to thank you for coming
And
on.
I'm no longer doing the groundwork. I need to.
I'm humble. I'll still flip burgers if
Yeah.
I need to. I'll do whatever I have to
Yeah, I
do.
want to sit in the box.
But stay tuned. You might have some surprising news coming up. And I want to
knows?
thank you again for coming on. And
It was a pleasure.
it's been a great friendship over the years, and I'm sure we're going to be doing more things.
Oh man, I was like through all the craziness. I mean, we always worked
Yeah, we always
together
worked well.
amazingly.
We
You
did,
know,
we
like
did.
considering everything that's happened,
Yeah,
and we never had issues.
Yeah.
I mean, we both are very passionate about these type of things, and we have very different personalities. So I think
But it works
we
well.
work together very well.
Partnerships don't always work.
I'm
Ours,
always tell
ours.
Joe, when you get me into something new, man, like let's all these
Well,
projects and like
stay tuned. Well,
no,
you
it's
came on my podcast, so thank you.
of
All
course
right. All right.
anytime.
Well, thank you everybody, and we'll see you soon. I'm wearing this Chelsea shirt because I am going to London on Friday. I'm taking my boys, Tottenham versus Chelsea, November 1st. We will be there, and then we'll also be there on the 4th for a Champions League game. Both games at White Hart Lane. I'll be in London for 5 days. Who knows what'll happen? So anyway, thanks everybody. Take care.
Thank you.